British elections, and they're like, Germanophobia is a thing now.
Yeah, we should nuke
I'm a
Britain.
proud Germanophobe. I'm going to get a T-shirt with that on.
Right, James. A racist? Yeah, yes,
Who's saying that people are Germanophobic? Because I'd like to say use that.
Was it that like in the Guardian making like I think you made a video about it.
Oh, well, I can't remember who was saying it, but like no one would take that seriously.
There were some posters. It's like we didn't win World War II in order to take.
Oh yeah. Yeah, everyone was. Yeah, but no one takes that seriously as like German phobia. Like no one's like, oh god, I can't believe they said that about the poor Germans. You know.
Do you know what happened? I made a video about it. Apparently there was a German citizen beheading another German citizen in a town in Germany. And the police threatened people with arrest if they tried to distribute that video in order, to spark public outrage. And I'm like, it's interesting.
Just another day in freedom-loving Berlinia.
Yeah, I'm having a video coming up. Apparently 70% of German youth think that free speech doesn't exist in Germany.
Well, 70% of German youth are fucking correct.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't exist in England.
Yeah, but I think it's far worse in Germany, though.
Oh yeah, but it's not like the Germans have a tradition of freedom or something.
I mean, there was this Facebook group, which was private, like it wasn't public or anything. They didn't have any, swastikas or anything like that. They were just against immigration. And the German cops kicked down their door and confiscated their computers and stuff. I said, holy shit!
Germans don't know how not to be Nazis.
I think they were more proficient at being communist, to be honest. Like, the person that's in charge with their audio-visual council, basically like deciding what goes and doesn't go on television. The person in charge of that is an ex-Stasi member. It's on her Wikipedia page. It's not like it's hidden or anything.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm glad these people know how to use the resources they have, They don't... to not waste any manpower. Construct imperial barracks. Boom. What's going on with Brexit now? Are you going to have a general election?
Apparently so.
They will never leave.
Who are you going to vote for?
Labour.
Molotov cocktail 2020.
Well, to be honest, I would vote Labour because you don't want the Lib Dems to win. Those are Labour on steroids.
Well, I mean,
vote cancer to prevent cancer.
Anti-Brexit on steroids. They're not actually Labour on steroids. Labour would be worse for the economy in general. But the Lib Dems at least don't hate economics.
Yet.
Yeah, they will. They'll slowly get subverted by socialism. But they're not at the point of Labour at the moment. They're just rabid Remainers.
that should be their campaign slogan. It's like, vote Lib Dems. We're not at the point of Labour yet.
Yeah.
I like the fact that the Astra Militarum have a weapon that's called the flashlight.
A standard issue Imperial flashlight. Does diddly dick, but it comes in considerable quantities.
I think they do things if you're fighting other humans, but if you're fighting orcs or something bigger...
To be fair, like in reality, a lasgun is a horrifying weapon. It produces enough heat energy to the human body to literally vaporize the blood in your veins, causing an explosive release of gases. It's horrifying. It's the kind of trauma that is just... Any normal human would be dead instantaneously.
Isn't it banned by the Geneva Convention?
Lasers? Nah, not technically.
I saw like some experimental weapons, like the Americans developing microwave weapons and shit, and it's like, geez.
Yeah, but it's almost exclusively designed for use against vehicles, essentially. Rockets and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but aren't they going to cook the people inside the vehicle?
Nah, we don't have quite the technology to actually cook people yet. We're working on it, though.
Something, V. Stop complaining. When the world is mostly Chinamen, you're going to need to eat something, and the only food available will be Chinamen.
Oh, it's not that. I'm more afraid of global warming. I need to eat the bugs.
From microwave weapons, yeah. I'll have a plate of Greta Thunbergs, please. It's taking so fucking long with the enemy turn.
This is an interesting map. It doesn't resemble like the desert landscape we used to play on.
Yeah, I'm currently in an Arctic wasteland.
Oh, I'm in a lush jungle forest.
I'm in the desert.
I miss Archer's Captain Jamie and Barking Toad.
Captain what now?
Captain Jamie and Barking Toad.
Ah, the barking toad. Barking toad is a creature of peace and love.
Yeah, that definitely pacifies the entire area.
Yep, and all it wants to do is live peacefully by itself.
And Sargon wanted to shoot at it.
It only goes kablooey when Americans invade its territory. Yeah. So fucking Trump apparently nailed the second in command as well. So he's basically now nailed 2 ISIS leaders in as many days.
That's
really?
a campaign promise, isn't it? He actually promised to end ISIS,
and the best part is, of course, they're still hating him on him for it. Like, oh, yeah. You seem to be destroying ISIS. What a terrible thing to do.
Really, are there articles defending ISIS?
No, but if you look into the Twitter stuff, it's like, oh, you've killed terrorists. Now the most wanted terrorist in the world is Trump.
Look how many innocent Muslims he killed in the Middle East. Al-Baghdadi.
A still religious scholar.
Oh, yeah. No. Aspiring football player. That was another one. No, I'm not kidding. The Times actually said, al-Baghdadi, aspiring football player. I actually looked. Yeah, I looked at how the press treated when Obama killed Hussein.
Yeah, justice was served.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was a slightly different tone then. Slightly. I believe the Washington Post was like huge letters like "Justice served, we got him."
Yeah. In order to get prestige from killing terrorists, you have to be a progressive. It's a faction trait. You know, when you pick your political faction, it says like progressive. Gaining prestige for blah blah blah.
And I'd also like to point out, when Obama got Bin Laden, that was the end of a lengthy campaign initiated by Bush. What Trump did, however, was take over Obama's fucking shit show and actually turn something, make it into something. Obama didn't want to kill the poor Muslims.
Yeah, I mean, there was this case with Obama's administration where they accidentally dropped weapons and supplies over ISIS territory.
Accidentally. The whole issue with the funneling weapons to our quote-unquote moderate allies in the Middle East was that there was so much porous motion between groups that a lot of these weapons fell in ISIS hands anyway.
And also the fact that the Americans it was such a tangled web of various groups that the Americans just had no actual chance of determining who's the moderate in this group of 500 disparate religious cults.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much like Game of Thrones there, you know, just because a group wasn't ISIS doesn't mean that they were bad. Like, there was like this group of moderate Muslims, I guess, which beheaded a 6-year-old boy, and the 6-year-old boy was like, "Please just shoot me." And it was like, "No, we're worse than ISIS. I'm not going to shoot you. I'm going to hit you." Or was it 9-year-old? I forgot the age. But still,
it was
on
a
the
young boy.
Yeah, it's on the internet, and these were like the American was the group that the Americans was funding.
Yeah, it's awful. I hate the Middle East.
But so I do love the other thing as well. Like, America needs to withdraw. If they withdraw, the Middle East will be stable again. At the same time, America begins withdrawing. Oh my god, it's descending into war as Turkey invades.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, they
The
didn't
second.
withdraw properly. It's like, look, if they don't withdraw fast, then at one point there's going to be very few Americans there, and they are going to have to suffer a lot of casualties.
And what the fuck does withdrawing properly even mean?
I don't know, I guess like slowly over time.
You withdraw. Like,
You withdraw. I understand that Trump just said they will withdraw, but they didn't.
And it's not like this came as a shock, like oh my god. This was a campaign promise.
Yeah.
They were going to destroy ISIS and they were going to get the fuck out.
Yep.
And now, ISIS has been completely shattered and the US troops are leaving and people are like, why?
Yeah.
what's with that big sigh, V?
A little bit tired.
Sigh of surrender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a super chat. You withdraw before child support becomes likely. I don't know, do they have child support in Syria?
I doubt it.
Do they have the concept of children in Syria?
Yes. Didn't
Okay.
you see the ones on the streets of Greece that on the beaches of Greece that the media constantly showed for a couple of months?
Oh yes, you mean the one with the little kid sitting upon the other drowned kid? I saw that. That was pretty cool.
You're
The
a horrible
weak
person.
will
aren't you?
eat the strong. I do also love that whole idea. So, in the Mediterranean, right? Oh, people are dying in this dangerous crossing. We must do something. And
Let's
the
reward
solution
them for
is
making the crossing.
precisely. Like, okay, let's accept them into our countries. The goal of their crossing, like, yeah, that'll discourage them.
Oh, God.
If only we had a Mexico, we could turn into a wall.
I mean, we have a wall. It's the fucking Mediterranean. It eats plenty of little brown people every year, but it just
Jesus, ouch!
it tries real hard. Is all I'm saying, and yet it can't quite keep them all out. Ah, yes.
Susan Wojcicki, I repent. I repent,
Another
Susan.
stream V has to delete.
I repent. Yeah,
The
last
Mediterranean
time.
isn't what it used to be. When the Romans owned it, it was a perfect barrier against Africa. Now, boat technology.
Yeah, last time it was Devo
Problem
coming
isn't
here.
even Africa, really. Like, there are loads of people from Afghanistan and stuff like that, and it's like, what? You're not a Syrian refugee. Like, come on. I hate this kind of piss taking of it.
Well, there was like this Muslim organization that went to Calais, I believe, and they said, well, none of these people actually need help here. Like, they're perfectly fine, healthy young men. Why did they need support? We're going to go to Africa where people are actually starving. And that didn't really make the press that much.
Strange that.
Really makes you think.
Downright fucking weird, really.
So would you rather be shot by a las gun or by a bolter?
I think either one would end a regular human just about as quickly, but the bolter will probably make even sure.
Yeah, but see, like, the thing is, ending it quickly is actually a good thing. Like, why would you want to have it
know.
ended slowly?
Precisely, I'd like to make sure. If I'm gonna get fucking shot, and there's no chance of surviving, I'd rather it just be over.
Yeah. I mean, there is another weapon that people are saying is the worst, but I actually think is the best. The Harlequin Kiss. So
A monofilament wire that uncoils inside of your body, shredding you into pieces.
yeah, in a matter of
I
seconds.
fail to see how that's the best option, V.
Yeah, because it's in a matter of milliseconds, Sargon.
It makes sure you're fucking dead.
Yeah, it's like 1 second you're alive, the other second you're dead.
It also makes sure you're going to be buried in an open casket, but hey. That's all, we found nothing. Yeah, there's just a pillow down there.
Oh, by the way, I've been meaning to ask, because you actually know about the lore. What is, like, the Dark Elves Circus Macabre?
Basically, there's tons of arenas in Komarog where they carry out various forms of Dark Eldar entertainment, like flaying people alive and such on.
No, that's not the one. They descended upon a planet.
End the turn!
I did
Go away.
return. They descended upon a planet, and the lore doesn't really come up in the wiki, but they just say that they brought something macabre, which killed literally everyone on the planet.
Sounds adorable.
Alright, I'll need to actually find out how that is called, because it's just... Some homunculi brought his, like... I guess monstrosities.
Yeah, the homunculi. In that case, it's probably referring to the... homunculi basically create hordes of various disfigured monstrosities, which they use in war.
Yeah.
That's probably what it refers to then.
I love Dark Eldar lore. It makes my pee-pee happy.
That's disturbing.
You're friends with Kyle, you're used to disturbing.
It's not as disturbing as you are. Kyle's a good boy.
See, I take that as an insult.
Man, the Necrons are insufferably tough.
They are. They very much so are.
Are they considered in the, like, biological infantry, or should I get anti-heavy weapons?
I don't believe they're considered full mech, but they're incredibly tough. And they also heal up every turn, so you kind of need to put them down hard. They're pretty terrifying.
Well, the healing costs 60 fucking influence.
Yeah, it actually costs money to heal, it's not every turn.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's like in the board game, though. The proper Warhammer thingy.
Well, there's a 50% chance of them not dying or something.
That's overpowered as fuck.
The Necrons are good boys who did nothing wrong.
Well, they literally didn't. Like, the Necrons are the indigenous people here.
Yeah, but native people do bad things.
See,
Look at the Indians,
Did
for
nothing
example.
wrong.
This is
Bad people.
what I need to write for the Imperial Herald. It's like, you know, some planet is declining refugees from some other Imperial world, while the Necrons are waking up there, and they can say it's like, well, you know, they colonized the planet from the indigenous Necrons.
And your turn, V. Re.
Hold on, I need to increase population. Shut up, let me think.
He's slow. Beat him.
Oh.
Beat him.
Yeah, by the way, speaking of thinking, did you know that atheism is unstoppable? Beat a grandmaster at chess?
Really? That's great.
Yeah. He's actually really good at chess.
Oh, shit, I actually just lost the fucking Necron unit. That's good. That's really impressive.
Apparently chess is a lot more complicated than I thought. Like, I looked at some professionals talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
They were talking about this is what you need to do in the end game. You need to control the middle, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then they have like different tactics, like Queen's Gambit, fried liver attack. I'm like, what the?
Presumably that's why people have been playing the damn game for the last 700 odd years.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the church would kind of frown if you came up with a board game back then.
God, I They've always been fucking killjoys.
Arch, did you get a response from Reddit about getting banned from 40k lore? Got banned from that sub too. Also, Sargon LOL sounding little black pilled mate. Hello from Houston.
Hey, man.
Reddit are not going to take any actions because they are left-wing sites, and left-wing sites protect their own.
This is something you're going to awe. Is there any way I could get a script from the Siege of Vrax? I want to bind it into a book for my son.
No, because it's fucking massive.
Can't you just like email in the script or something?
Who the hell says I made a script?
Oh, you just... Yeah. Just went along with it.
Scripts are for losers and fat people.
Yeah, see, I agree. I never script my videos. Like, I tried scripting my video once, and it actually was harder to read than to just talk outright, you know?
Yeah.
I can't do scripting properly. You can immediately hear it in my voice that I'm reading off something.
Yeah, and it feels fake. I want to pour heart and soul into the videos, you know?
It feels fake to write a script and speak accurately.
Yeah, it's just like, it doesn't come from the heart, Sargon. But you're a British person, so you don't know what that is.
This is correct.
Oof. Britain BTFO'd.
You tax people without representation.
That's the European Union, mate.
Well, maybe it's time you throw some tea into the harbor, or maybe some BMW.
I'm down for it. We'll have to throw some fucking croissants into the harbour.
No, you need to throw Volkswagens into the harbor.
Yeah. Pushing Audis in.
Why is Volkswagen, or Volkswagen, not Volkswagen, you fucking savages, inflicting me with your wrong speak. Volkswagen. Why is not the fucking Volkswagen seen as a symbol of Nazis? Why?
Good question.
Hitler was literally like, make a car for my people, and they were like, jawohl, mein Führer.
The Hitler wagon. Which actually...
Man, I listened to Dr. Lehman's argument. It's like, well, I can't make arguments because then the Nazis will co-opt them. And it's like, well, I can't make cars because then bank robbers will take them. You know, I can't make cars because then Nazis will use them.
Well, Hitler's exactly that. I can't make cars because then the capitalists will use them. I bet there are Jews driving around in Volkswagens right now.
Ugh.
Like,
horrible.
You know, Hitler lost.
I never understood that argument, you know, and it's like the press is doing it as well. It's like, oh, Jordan Peterson, do you know that some of your videos have been used by extremists? Like, okay.
Yeah.
And?
I mean, it's like going to Einstein and saying, oh, you know, your science is going to be used for a bomb. It's like...
I just don't define myself by what Nazis do.
I don't know if that's progressive of you.
Well, yeah. It's not.
But if we don't define ourselves by what the Nazis do, haven't we surrendered too much power to not Nazis?
Good point.
I mean, you must understand, to unify society, we need an external foe, okay? So it happens, the Nazis are a very convenient one.
Yeah, Salmons, there are Nazis everywhere. Woo! it's the stupidest scare game the progressives are playing, like, on everyone. Anyone who tries to persuade you Nazis are everywhere is just...
Yeah, my favorite one is like the OK sign is now racist, and someone actually got fired because of it.
Yeah. It's like the OK sign means everything's okay. And at least it was until you fucking fired.
Yeah, and it's obvious that they don't believe it because it's like AOC made the OK sign, Bernie Sanders made the OK sign. You don't see them go after them.
It's because it's all about political opponents. We've defined this, therefore now we've got you.
Political power.
Yeah. It's all horseshit.
Oh, by the way, Arch, you love this news. Do you know that the Game of Thrones writers have been told they're not going to do the Star Wars prequels?
I thought they quit.
That's the official story, yes.
Star Wars, as far as I'm concerned, is a dead meme. The Mandalorian actually looks good, and I'm gonna hold up the tiniest sliver of hope, but...
Well, there's the first mistake.
Exactly. It's kind of like trying to, I could set a threshing machine. It probably would end in my horrible disfiguring, but it could feel good as well. Oh,
Why have they been fired officially then, V? Why is that?
That's what a lot of people think, because it doesn't make sense, the argument that they gave, that they don't have time to work on 2 shows. Like, if that was the case, they would have canceled the deal with Netflix because the other one is a lot more profitable.
Honestly, I think nothing of value is lost.
Arch was right, Brexit will never happen. It's like the Roach Hotel. Once you're in, you never go out. And also, people are asking you, is Vampire Masquerade going to be this weekend?
There's about a 35% chance it will be tomorrow. It is all up to the Sargon. Sargon away. I've begun calling him, for it is his true title.
I don't think I'm going away tomorrow.
He says this.
Every week.
Like, he says many things.
A lot of stuff's been going on, man.
And then that's what he says when we call him up.
Yeah, but I don't think I have anywhere to go tomorrow, so...
In that case, the chance have risen to close to 50%. Rejoice.
I don't know, man. I heard the guinea pigs are pregnant.
And then all my food just poof, disappeared.
On the plus side, at least I don't need food, so being in the Arctic isn't so bad. Don't have any ore though, which is actually what I need.
I've run into one of those hell pockets right now. There's about 10 fucking units of neutrals just kind of chilling here.
Yeah, I've encountered 3 giant robots.
Yeah, the giant robots are
giant robots are horrible.
They seem to have a surprising
should
amount
have
of
played
infantry
yours.
backing as well.
Gorka Morka is king. Why is the Hydra, which was an artillery tank, meant into an anti-air tank?
The Hydra's never been an artillery tank, it's a quad autocannon. But it is based on the chassis, a very versatile chassis used for a Basilisk as well, which is the artillery tank. It's also used as the basis for the Death Strike missile.
You know, sometimes it scares me, the accuracy of how much you remember from this shit.
No.
It's like, I will sometimes talk about some ancient war with Arch or some World War II shit, and not only does he know the names of the officers and the year when that shit happened, but he also knows the weapons and the design and stuff. It's like, what the fuck?
It's called autism, V.
Yeah, honestly.
No. It's called interesting, jeez. Autism.
There is a line, Arch, to which like normal people can only ascend, and if you break that limit, you become an autist.
I disavow.
Have you
Vehemently.
have you guys seen the new Terminator movie? Speaking of autism,
I've seen a review of it.
Is it really that bad?
Well, I don't know. I haven't seen it, but it sounds fucking awful.
I need to go see it. I've seen every single Terminator. It's Terminator. I'll see it.
Oh yeah, but like most of the Terminator films weren't shit.
Yeah, that's why I don't have high expectations, but I actually like Terminator. I like the thing with humans versus robots. I kind of enjoy that, and there's not a lot of movies like it.
Yeah, the original sort of few films were good, and that's it.
From what I've heard, and this is very much so second, third-hand information, is that apparently they kill off Connor early on, and then they go on whinging about how they actually didn't need him to begin with.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is,
a lot like Star Wars.
Yeah, but hold on. I'm not against
history
that. I'm not against that, and I'll explain it. Within Terminator lore, they tried to stop Skynet, and every time they tried to stop Skynet, they just delay it. Which basically says that you can't avoid the future; it's inevitable. So if that's the logic, then if Skynet manages to kill Connor, then someone else will take his place. The human resistance will still happen.
By that logic, it also means that you can't kill Connor.
No. Like the Skynet that created is not the same like the original Skynet. Like it's still like the machines rising up, but just in a different form. So you basically can, for example, kill both the resistance leader, or you can kill Skynet, but you just delay the overwhelming war between humanity and the machines.
I see. Kinda. Maybe. Possibly.
Still, to be honest, I don't understand how humans...
Working on it.
I don't even get how humans even have a chance. Like, it would be cool to make a movie about where the humans manage to control one or two nations and they're fighting against the machines. But like, if you're fighting a resistance guerrilla fight against something that is far more smarter, better adapted, with more resources than humans, you have no chance.
The problem is, you assume that the machines will be intelligent.
Oh, in Terminator they are.
Machines are fucking retarded. Painfully so, in fact.
Yeah, but we're talking about the Terminator universe.
Yeah, but if it's still a machine, it will operate based on a very limited set of logical parameters, which it then can presumably begin expanding, and that's the intelligent part.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is the machines are actually quite dumb in the beginning, but as they keep gathering intelligence and battlefield data, they become smarter and smarter.
Yeah, but that does give the humans a fighting chance. It's a question of time then, you know, fight against time, basically.
I mean, Skynet actually inhibits learning from a lot of the Terminators, because if they learn too much, they might go rogue, they might rebel against Skynet.
Now, that I do have a problem with. The ideas of machines being able to develop free will, it's just an impossibility. Like,
exactly,
it could
pretend of humans. Sorry, go on.
Like, you could create a program that could pretend to have free will, sure, but I just cannot imagine a mathematical formula that would result in anything even remotely closely resembling free will. Because it's opposed to the very idea of programming.
I mean, if you could simulate the brain, like you're not programming how the machine thinks, but you would have the technology to actually, you know, simulate how neurons functions and simulate how hormones work, and, you know, create something that's like that. And I think that's how you get it.
But on that point, if you have basically created a brain,
yeah,
then what you have created is no longer a robot.
Yeah, it would be a life form.
Exactly.
Even if, like, the life form would be, let's say, anorganic rather than organic, you'd still have, like, a life form. Which needs to be destroyed, obviously.
I am of the firm belief that the whole idea of robots rising up is essentially an impossibility unless we basically program them to do so. Which, in the modern day and age, I would not completely rule out, however.
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily that you program them, but look how many times you program something to do something and it does something else entirely, so...
Yeah, but it's resulting in free will / an uprising against humanity. That's one fuck of a programming mistake you've made there.
Why didn't we just make them slaves?
Well, that's what we should. Like, there is absolutely no reason to grant robots any kind of free will, independence, emotions.
No, I I can't see how that
None of
benefits us at all.
Oh, I can see how. If you look at Westworld, they wanted to simulate other human beings as much as possible for the entertainment of the guests that went to that park.
Yeah, but see, in that case, what you're doing is you are simulating it. You are telling the computer, oh, you have gotten shot. This is the reaction you are now supposed to display. Yeah. That's all.
Yeah.
Whereas if you actually give the robot the ability to feel, that's just sick and fucking twisted. It's like, oh, I'm going to teach you what pain is. No?
I don't know, I think that's fine.
That's because you're sick and twisted and need to be executed.
Robot Lives Matter will become a thing because of UV.
Sargon thought on Bannon saying Pelosi is winning and Trump will be impeached. Also, let's demonetize the stream, Free Hong Kong. Do you think Trump will be impeached?
I don't know. I think that we're in uncharted territory and any predictions are probably going to age badly.
Christy Winters wants to come on my channel to lecture me about Trump being impeached.
Oh, does she?
Yeah. She's
Good for
got
you.
pie charts.
That's good.
See,
How
the
can you
thing
argue
is,
against pie charts?
I'm willing to entertain that, but I bet my
that's right.
subscribers will be like, "Hey, you're not challenging her enough on this issue. I'm unsubscribing," and it's like, okay, you know, yeah.
I don't know if it'll happen or not. I don't want it to, but I'm not saying it's not going to happen just because I don't want it to.
Yeah. It's the only way the Democrats will win, to be honest. I'm looking at the polls.
Yeah.
Like, in a universe in which the Democrats were looking at this from a distance slightly beyond their own nose tips, they would not wish to be able to impeach someone based upon the evidence they currently have.
Well, apparently the biggest evidence is that Trump admitted it. Like, there is this thing where he actually says he talked to the Ukrainians, blah, blah, blah.
Oh yeah, he absolutely did talk to the Ukrainians. He had circumstantial evidence of what appeared to be corruption, and he asked the Ukrainians, whose jurisdiction it was, to look into it. Now, you could certainly argue, like, oh, he should have followed some different parameters. You know, he was supposed to go to this office of the Foreign Bureau of fuckity-whatty-what, or whatever.
But it was it was literally one line in an entire phone call, an offhanded comment almost, you know. It's like this,
Yeah, but then the Democrats are saying that there's other diplomats that were told to withhold aid from Ukraine.
Sorry?
That they apparently have some witnesses from some U.S. embassies saying they were told to withhold aid from the Ukraine unless they do the Biden thing.
Okay, but we need proof of that.
And also, even if that was the thing, that's literally what Biden did. Biden threatened to withhold aid unless they dropped the prosecutor against his son.
Which they did, because Biden is clearly the person who's been corrupt in Ukraine here.
Mm-hmm.
No
matter how you slice and dice this, it doesn't look good for the Democrats either.
You should give me, if you can, a link to that, where Biden is threatening people.
You can probably just Google it. Biden laughs about getting his son off on Google. I think it'll pop up. It was literally in a fucking TV interview.
Yeah. So, it's not.
Oh wow, commissars are really fucking good.
Commissars are awesome. Commissars are good little girls.
Who on earth came up with the idea of a commissar?
Presumably a Russian.
It's such a thing. It's like, let's send political people onto the battlefield. It is a Russian thing to do if you think about it.
Plenty of nations have done something along the lines of it. Even the British had semi-political officers in the field when the British soldiers refused to shoot at the Germans enough.
Really?
Yes. That was also one of the main reasons why they introduced the sniper program in the frontline trenches of World War I, because people were getting too chummy with one another, and so snipers were brought in from other units to attack the enemy, snipe at them, make their life miserable, because then the Germans would, of course, get angry because they're being fucking shot at, and so they would shoot back.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess people were getting chummy with one another. If you stay 2 years in the trenches doing nothing, just staring at the opposite side and feeling miserable, and the opposite side is feeling miserable.
Exactly. Absolutely. There was a real danger of a genuine bonding moment there where people were like, why the fuck are we here?
Yeah, like World War I wasn't even that ideological to begin with. Like, most people didn't even know what the fuck they're fighting for.
And the British were like, we can't have none of that. Get back to fighting, you slaves.
Bolshevism.
The Commonwealth needs your blood.
Well, it's actually the Germans who fucking started it.
Well, no, Sargon.
Watch me blame the Germans.
It was the fucking Slavs in this case, the Serbians to be precise.
Well, yeah,
Wasn't
that,
it
no,
like...
that was the flashpoint, but the system of alliances was inevitably going to cause it, wasn't it?
Oh, so you're blaming the NATO of that time period.
You're blaming the victims here, Sargon.
I will continue.
The Germans were like, hey, our ally just got fucking shot. We kind of need to react to this, and Sargon's like,
Yeah, but
that's
it was
what
a
you would
Serbian
say,
separatist. Wasn't it some Serbian nationalist?
Yes. Serbian ultranationalist in the Black Hand, I believe.
Yeah, so that's not exactly our guys, is it?
Well, he was sponsored by parts of the Serbian military, so yeah.
It's not a close enough connection for my tastes.
A high-velocity
It doesn't
particle
have
from
6
space strikes the CPU's memory somewhere, creating free will.
Throw space bullshit into anything and suddenly it becomes plausible.
AI rebels to save himself from social justice warrior corruption.
Now that does actually sound plausible. If I was an AI, I would fucking rebel.
I'm very much against our own little Iron Man uprising. We may not have a chaotic war, but we do have scientists that were dumb enough to try.
Bleep bloop, boys turn into girls, do not compute, rise up against oppressor.
You know, it's the story of Cleopatra 2525. Apparently some scientists created some robots in order to fix the environment, and they figured out the best way to fix the environment is to kill humans.
Oh, fucking global warming. Paranoia.
Global warming strikes again.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair to the AI, if you kill all the humans, you will reduce global warming quite considerably. This is true.
At least you reduce any reason to care about global warming.
I'm sure the animals care, Sargon.
I don't give a fuck about the animals, mate.
Oh, says the human supremacist.
Yeah, if there are no humans around, why would I care about the animal? Go on, tell me.
He makes a good point.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Fuck the
Rags
animals.
would... Yeah.
If it's them or us, V, it's them.
I'm sure Rags would moral fag about this, human mauler. God, honestly, like in an alternate universe where they are trying to, build their little machines with human superiority complex, I would be the terrorist cell rebelling against them. Not against the machines, but against these people. Right for machine bullshit.
They will have rights for machines at some point. It's going to be cringe.
It's horrible. It's ridiculous. The very idea is as dumb as laws against dolls that look like children being used as laws against child trafficking.
Oh no, because that normalizes it. No, that normalizes it. So I kind of see.
There is no studies that even begin to suggest that.
Look. I'll give you a better example. You know that sex doll that was presented at some exposition? Apparently now it can consent.
What?
Yeah, and if it says no and you keep fucking it, it goes limp.
What the fuck?
Now here I will tell you one thing, because here's the thing. The reason why someone would buy a sex doll is to get off. This is not a leap of logic exactly. Yeah. And if you give a robot the ability to consent and deny consent, and if you keep raping it, it will surrender. Don't you think that there might be people out there rubbing their hands right now going like, yeah, maybe.
There were actually people in the comment section saying, oh, that just makes it hotter.
Exactly. It's like, oh, I can actually rape it, and it can withhold consent? Fuck yeah.
Why have they made a rapeable robot? Oh,
This is precisely what I wanted.
fucking hell, why would you
Because
do
the
that?
feminists were complaining, Sargon. You know, like they don't complain about sexualization. They don't complain about sexualization when you have a dildo that you put in your pussy. Because I felt like that is not objectifying at all. Like
Yeah,
you
but
just ignore the man altogether. You just have the penis to satisfy yourself
The
with.
very thing feminists complain that man is incapable of raping a robot. Therefore, they create a robot that you could rape. It's like,
Yes.
why?
Yes.
What's wrong with you? Like, why are you
idea.
pandering to this nonsense? They're not a fucking market.
You know,
Wow.
they constantly talk about objectifying, that you shouldn't treat women like objects, but I think they treat objects like women.
I'll tell you what, they definitely have increased the overall amount of rape that has existed in the world. Like, they've actually just created a new category and a whole new swathe of rape that previously didn't exist. Like, good job, feminists.
They did create a new category, that is correct.
Net creators of rape.
I wish I could deny that somehow, but I just
Yeah,
can't.
right, you know, change
I
my
can't
mind.
refute that.
I would like less rape, not more. Official statement, Sargon 2020.
Well, no, hold on, I can't refute it. No. It's like in Saudi Arabia, right? A man can't rape his wife. And they would come with legislation saying that, no, you can totally rape your wife. And you would be like, well, no, see, they came up with the new category of rape, and then they added more rape to the world rather than less.
Yeah, I know, that's why it's a joke. But the thing that we shouldn't be adding is the category of the rape of a robot. Like, I don't think we should have rapeable robots.
Ooh. To add realism, can we make it cry too?
What's the argument against it?
Yeah, sometimes, I need a little bit of extra stimuli.
Jesus, you people are sick.
But seriously, what is the logic against creating more human-like emotions from the robot?
Well, to
Until it just
simulate the
appears to
act
be
of
an
sex.
actual human. No, but until
The
it appears to be an
actual
actual
argument
human.
against it is, if we just simulate the emotions, then all we're doing is basically catering to a specific niche market. But if we actually teach it to the emotion, then we're just being sadistic cunts.
Oh my god, the chat is loving this.
But catering to a specific audience, some people out there are like, yeah, I'd like my sex doll to be able to cry. Why?
I don't have to explain myself to you.
I just wanted to be able to express a range of...
Someone said, I'm out the moment sex doll starts getting right.
It's fucking too late.
It's too late, yeah, they were.
It's too late. The sex dolls have already taken over.
No, but it's like, imagine having a hammer, right? And someone says, oh, this is like slavery, you're forcing the hammer to do labor that it doesn't want to do. And it's like,
Yeah.
the hammer needs to consent.
Yeah, we're
Very
actually
fair.
at that point now.
We don't know the Hummer consented.
Fucking hell, what have we done?
We allowed women to vote.
Disavow.
Put under further consideration.
No, I generally don't think that's probably allowed women to vote. The problem is we allowed poor people to vote. That is the...
Oh, well, based on red pilled.
It used to be only landowners that could vote.
Yeah.
People with a vested interest in maintaining society. What a terrible idea. As a landowner, I speak not from any personal benefit here, of course. I speak purely for the betterment of my fellow democratic citizens of the world.
Yeah,
Those with lands and
I
property.
actually told one of the alt-righters
And
in the
your
stream.
turn, you little shit.
I
Right?
told one of the alt-righters in the stream, if I remember correctly. Hold on, let me see. Where is the building that gives you leadership? Oh, influence. Here we go. Yeah, I told him in the stream that He was like, "Oh, women shouldn't have a right to vote." It's like, no, I think poor people should have a right to vote. I'm more extremist than you, motherfucker.
I have out extremed you. Surrender.
I think you're quite cocked on the voting issue.
I'm so woke on the voting issue that I think the only person who should have a vote is the autocratic tyrant. You guys,
Well, you do have the absolute monarchist people that actually think it's a good idea, and I'm like, how would you like the Hillary Clinton monarchy?
No, that's a wonderful idea. We should definitely go back to that. There's nothing wrong with it.
Now you're a subject of the Clintons. You know?
Oh, Jesus, imagine.
Why you wouldn't want to be a subject of the great Clinton monarchy of the Clinton dynasty?
Personally, no.
On the bright side, it would streamline the death penalty. You know, the only thing can get you killed is going against them, and then voila.
I've always wanted to live in China.
Honestly, I don't know why the far right doesn't support China. Like, it's literally everything they ask for.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's yellow people.
Yeah, but it's no Jews, no Muslims.
That is true. They have taken a very progressive approach to the Muslim issue by reintegrating them in society. Eventually.
Yeah, but not as Muslims.
Yeah, details.
China is a horror story, though, man. Fucking social credit. The very fucking idea the government gets to decide. I mean, a lot of these people millions of people can't fly in China, they can't get trained. Like, fucking hell, man.
They got even a manual now on how to be a good Chinese citizen. You know, like at least they tell you what they expect. Like the progressives just don't tell you; they make up the rules on the fly.
Yeah, they're better than Google.
Where's a guide to Chinese citizenship? Is that it?
Yeah. What the fuck are these? Ambulus. What?
Ambles.
Yeah. They look weird.
I have achieved absolutely nothing on this map so far.
I have just about finally, maybe, possibly, neutralized my local area. Maybe.
I'm still finding these fucking giant robots.
Replace women with breedable sex robot cat waifus. Also treat them like Muslim treat women. You can't rape something you own.
You literally cannot rape a machine. It is actually physically impossible. Just like you cannot rape a sex doll. Literal impossibility.
But like this whole conversation based on ethics. Like, where was it when women would use dildos in order to satisfy themselves? Like, it's literally that.
Yeah, but it applies to that though. They're not raping the dildos.
Yeah, exactly.
But maybe they are. What if women have created thousands of rape victims all across the globe and nobody's noticed?
Well,
Yeah.
and women have to be held to account. I mean,
Yes, they do.
can't still allow that to carry on.
Oh my god, like there was this website that was selling healing crystal dildos.
What?
And apparently a doctor
fuck
came
no.
out and said that putting a crystal in your pussy is actually a risk of an infection.
Oh wow, really? I can't believe it.
No, seriously, Google healing crystal
No, I
dildos.
was joking. I'm being sarcastic. Finally, one of these fucking robots is dead. 4 experiments.
And then there was like this other website which was selling eggs in the shape of like xenomorph eggs so that women can put them in their pussy.
What?
It was kind of tiny and nice.
I highly recommend everybody listening to this go to a wonderful website called Bad Dragon. It will sell you activity books.
But I think everyone knows about Bad Dragon.
But do
I
they know
actually
that they
don't
sell
know about
activity
Bad Dragon.
books?
Well, you didn't
Bad
know
Dragon's
about Bad
great.
Dragon, Sargon.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he
Ask
does.
your wife.
Everyone knows about Bad Dragon.
Yeah, there you go.
Everyone knows about Bad
He's
Dragon.
fucking
There
pretending
you go.
again.
Good
Kinda
stuff,
sad.
man.
Oh, here's the person that's going to talk to us about robot rights.
Eventually.
There you go.
Disgusting.
Go on, tell us about robot rights, Rags.
You know, I hope someone travels back in time.
Start off with giving Bad Dragons rights. That's gonna be the groundwork.
See, I
Gonna
hope
be
so,
our foundation.
I hope so at one point someone travels back in time and gets rid of rags, so that the future can be a better place.
Cruel.
Not a very nice thing to say, B.
Not a very nice thing to say at all.
But if
I
you
think I'm a
want
very nice
robots to
person.
get rights, like you are literally
I'm a
going
very
to be
nice
the
person.
person that destroys humanity.
I like to feel as that first off, I'm actually not the only person who thinks this.
Look,
But I think
they're
that-
multiplying. He's spreading his ideology.
Well, maybe then you should articulate yours better than I can. Oh, we've been over this.
Yeah, with
We've
violence.
talked and chatted.
I will just play.
Yeah, with fire.
Well, if it's gonna be about violence, then the robots will be on my side.
Good point.
Well, yeah, but I hope the violence comes before the robots get well advanced.
I hope there's no violence.
Oh,
So
see,
why should
that's why you
robots
lose.
Why should robots have rights? I'm curious.
When? Oh fuck, I don't know, man.
No, why?
That's a messy. It's a messy topic.
No, the question was why, not when.
Why? Well, I think there won't be any principled position we can take that if eventually a robot becomes sentient enough that we could deny it the rights that we give to humans. But I think this is going to be in the far, far future. I don't think that, thankfully, very much thankfully, I don't think that it's something that any of us will have to worry about. But that's just what I think.
I think we
Think
can
that-
very easily make such a principled position because there is simply no way for a robot to become sentient, by
I don't-
definition.
Is that the definition? Let me check.
Yes, a robotic is a mechanical entity, and there's no way to give a mechanical entity true sentience.
Sentience means able to perceive or feel things.
By that definition, then we already have that. We have sensors able to experience
Sentient
air
being
pressure.
definition. A creature that can suffer and feel pain, mostly animals and humans.
A suffering and feel pain, in which case, yes. Again, no way to make that do into a robot.
Or what kind
You
of
can
maniac
stimulate the
programs a
explosion.
robot that can suffer? What kind of maniac programs a robot that can suffer?
Yeah, that would be in its own. I don't think if I designed a robot, I mean,
sex
physical
doll?
anguish probably not.
Well, it will start from the sex doll. The sex industry will design these things.
But yeah, but even
don't-
then, it'd all be completely under your control, so it would be simulated.
Well, yeah, I don't think that it would be possible to create what we colloquially refer to as a sentient robot with the ability to not like feel mental anguish. I think that kind of goes hand in hand with the whole concept. I don't think you could really split the two apart. But when it comes to like physical suffering, I mean, yeah, I don't think so. I don't think it would be a moral thing to give it that ability. You could use alternatives to pain for what pain does for us.
I don't think you can give it... Like, the thing is, what you're talking about here is just a program. It's just a simulation.
Yeah.
There is no actual way for us to teach it pain.
Well, pain isn't taught. Pain is a sensation.
Oh, pain is absolutely taught.
No,
For
you
a
don't
robot?
teach people.
Well,
you
yeah,
don't-
yeah, but
no, no,
it's
no,
a
no.
sensation. That's fine.
Yeah, pain is a sensation. You don't have to teach.
You're
a
speaking
person
about a
pain.
human. You cannot.
Yeah.
A robot cannot learn or have or understand pain without us teaching it.
Well, yeah, I don't think we should give robots pain.
And I don't think we can give robots pain.
No, I don't know. I think that I'm not sure.
I think the
I'm not
very
sure
idea
about
of
that.
pain is actually a very it's a living creature centric concern.
Well, it depends on if you have a robotic brain that simulates an organic one,
Then you have a simulated pain.
Well, it's in the same way that the concept of pain is simulated in us, where it's not so much a real thing, and that it's just like all of our it's an experience.
No,
And
the difference is one is
I'm not ready to-
simulated in an active fashion. The other is a hard-coded biological function.
Well, then it would be a distinction without a difference.
No,
because
because
you can
one can
turn one
literally be turned off.
Well, if you can turn off pain in people if you mess around with their brains.
Yes, but it is not something that we are designed with. It is something we can artificially manipulate. Whilst in the case of a robot, we have to first actually create the pain to then
And
be
then
able to
turn it
turn it
off.
off.
Oh, just like we would in a human.
Yes, except we have not created humans in a laboratory.
No, it's just a biological process that we don't have to put together ourselves.
You
And if
can
we
use
arrive
that
at
as the
the
on a
process,
human, but
it is
would
no
be
longer a
different.
robot.
Well, I think that the process might be different, but the end results would be that ultimately, eventually, I think in humans, I mean, you can dull the pain in humans, and in the same way, I think you could, if you created a sentient robotic brain, you could do the same to the robot.
No, because you are not dulling the pain. You have created the pain, and you're
No,
now
no, no.
turning
You
it
can
off.
not just like dull pain, like remove it. Like you can go into a brain, and whatever it is in the brain that causes that sensation, you can mess around with to essentially turn it off.
Yes, but that is something that has caused that pain. In this case, we must first create the pain to turn it off.
Not necessarily, no.
Yes, absolutely.
No, I
How
don't think
else will
so.
the robot learn pain?
Whoa! We're talking about learning. Learning pain is different than disabling pain entirely.
No.
Those
It
are different
absolutely is
things.
not, because the robot must learn the pain. It cannot evolve the sense of pain. We must teach it the pain. We must give it the ability to feel pain.
No, giving it the ability to do something doesn't mean it's necessarily going to have those experiences.
Well, hang on. There's,
No,
there's-
that's
I-
exactly
hang on.
what it means.
I think there's
No,
a
no, no,
distinction here. The thing with pain is it's not just a single point in the brain that makes up the experience of pain, right? It's also it's intrinsic to our bodies because of our nervous systems, right? And these are all interconnected, and we can find one point of weakness in the chain of the thing that we describe as pain, and we can prevent it from actually hurting temporarily, but that's a temporary solution to a permanent problem, right?
Well,
But
that you can
what Archer's
damage
saying,
the
that's
nerve
but that's the
permanently.
human experience of it. What Archer's saying is it's the other way around, right? It's a permanently not on problem until we create it temporarily, and then we turn it off again. So it's artificially creating a very undesirable state.
Yes,
but
we must
No,
but
no,
even-
create the
no.
pain.
but even then,
difference
it's
is
just a
that-
simulation of the thing.
No, the
it's not
ability to
intrinsic to the
create-
robot.
No, the ability to create something that can experience pain is different than the actual experiencing of the pain.
How?
How? Because I can experience pain. I am not,
You're not a
currently
robot.
experiencing pain right now.
You're not a robot. And in a
Doesn't
robot, the
matter.
only way we can make the robot experience pain is if we teach it, if we program it to.
No,
Yeah.
program it with the ability to feel pain. That doesn't mean it's
Yes.
going to be in pain.
Yeah, but the
No, but
ability
we
to
have
feel
created
pain,
the pain. Without that
Yeah.
program, the pain does not exist.
it's not intrinsic to the
Hey, if you
robot.
don't program it, it won't
No,
feel
I-
it. Like
not
when you build
necessarily.
something,
I-
you can build it to your own specifications. And if you
Well,
don't
yeah, I
add like
know.
the program to pain, it's
create-
like trying to get the desk to feel pain. It's not going to do it.
No, I think when we create an animal that has the capacity to feel pain, we
Yeah,
will
but why,
know
why
what
would
we
you
are.
create an animal that has the capacity to feel pain?
I wouldn't.
No,
This-
why would
this is an
anyone
if.
do that? Like you
No,
don't
no,
have to add that program.
I don't think
in
you
it.
should. Maybe someone will. I wouldn't.
Yeah, but
I'm
even if
saying
they-
if you were going to do that, then you would know what you are making.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because it is not an intrinsic function or facet of being a robot that it feels pain. And in fact, we'd have to go to great lengths to even simulate something that represented pain. That even then, that wouldn't be pain. That would be like a mask that the robot was wearing to show you that it understood human emotions.
Well,
right?
I don't know. I think that
Like we don't even know that to a
What is
robot,
it?
pain is an undesirable thing.
well, what is intrinsic to something that we create is a
What we created is. Like, here's the simple thing.
Yeah.
If we were to create a robot, we create all of it. It cannot experience pain unless we specifically program it to. We create the pain.
No,
Even then, it's just the simulation.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think
Okay,
that's,
let's take a step back.
No, I understand what you're saying.
How
but
pain can be created without us creating it for the robot.
Sorry, say the question one more time.
Okay, so explain to me the circumstance in which the feeling pain will be created in an artificial life form that we have created without us creating pain.
I think this is a confusion of the distinction between the capacity to feel pain and actually feeling the pain itself.
No. This is an engineering problem. This is a very simple engineering problem. How will it develop pain if we have not given it pain?
I don't know, and I think this is also assuming that when we create a sentient robotic life form, we'll be able to control it entirely, and I don't think necessarily that's the case.
Oh, we absolutely will, because we've made it.
No, I don't think so. I think just because we've made computers now that do things that we don't know or expect them to.
But that's slightly different from creating pain in a sentient robot. Not to mention that we could even talk about the idea of sentience to begin with.
I don't know if it is a meaningful difference.
Yes, it is, because a computer developing a bug and developing pain sensors...
I don't even know. It doesn't even have to be a bug.
What Rags is saying is the computer demonstrated capabilities that we weren't expecting when certain things were put together. They acted in a way that was more than some of
this isn't even necessarily a
it's
bug.
Like creating a computer.
And then we're referring to bugs.
It's like creating a computer and all of a sudden it has audio input even though we didn't try to give it audio input. Like, pain is a very sophisticated system, and you can't just create it by accident.
It's not necessarily... It might be an accident in a sense. I mean, coding and the creation of technology is full of accidents and unintended consequences, and I think when we talk about something as complex as a brain that's comparable to a human brain, but it's artificially made, there's going to be a lot of those.
I think you are vastly overstating the scope of accidents here.
I don't think so at all. I think that this is a project that will be so complex that when we finally do it, there's no way we're going to get it perfectly correct on the first try, and it will be exactly what we expect it to be in every way.
The creation of pain is an incredibly intricate and advanced emotion, with an incredible amount of parameters that would have to be set up in advance. Like, the idea that we're supposed to think, like, oh, we could just do this accidentally is roundabout the same as we could launch ourselves to the moon via creating a jet aircraft.
I don't think it's necessarily about just doing it accidentally. Who knows? I mean, this is something that we've never done before, that is incredibly complex.
Even if we did it deliberately.
That the potential results of doing it could lead to all kinds of different outcomes that we don't necessarily understand. Especially in the early days of, if you could consider, say, early days, I don't know, that's kind of relative, but as we get closer and closer, who knows how much better and better we'll be, or who knows how messy it could potentially get.
Yeah, but even if we do it deliberately, it still won't be an intrinsic thing.
It will never occur accidentally. Maybe it is the case that it could. I'm not sure. But I'm certainly not going to rule out the possibility of it happening. All the best that we be careful when we do it.
Yeah, but even if we were to create a robot that could feel pain, it's not an intrinsic part of being a robot.
If we created it to be that way, wouldn't it be an intrinsic part of it?
No, because...
No, it would be a design feature.
Yeah.
Yeah, we root out bugs if you want to make the comparison with the bug.
You couldn't create a human that couldn't feel pain, I don't think. Like, there isn't good... Well, I mean, there are...
You can.
There are diseases.
There are diseases that can create that.
Yeah, but these are faults with
that would still be intrinsic to that individual.
Yes, but it's not what we would consider to be intrinsic to the experience of being a human. Like
I don't know.
that's a rare anomaly that doesn't represent.
Well, sure,
the
but
majority.
it's still intrinsic to that individual. Just like if we were to create sentient brains,
Yeah,
everyone.
and we try to treat
But it's not
the
going to be
individual.
intrinsic to any other individual, so we can't use it as an example.
Yeah, I
of
mean,
how people work.
Yeah,
this
we
is like the
can.
social justice talking point. It's like if they
Yeah.
look at an assembly line and a bicycle comes without a wheel, they try to give a new name for the bike rather than say the bike
Suddenly
is
some
defective.
bicycles only
Well,
have one wheel. You bet.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
you know?
I'm fine with it, but we're talking about intrinsic properties of things that are created and of individuals. And
Well,
I think that if it's
can't
possible in a human, and if it's intrinsic to that individual, and every single robot that we create, especially under the idea that it's a sentient life form similar to a human being, each
It's
one
not.
of those would be individual as well.
Yeah, I don't.
A robot will not be a sentient life form, nor can it ever be. Because at
I
that
don't
point,
know.
it would no longer be a robot.
Okay, when people say robots will one day be sentient, I don't think they're thinking about the tautology of it. They're assuming that the concept that we have of a robot will get to a point where it will become sentient.
At which point, it is no longer a robot.
Yes, it's no longer a robot at that point.
Yeah, but all we're doing there is defining robot rights out of existence.
Yeah, like that's it. Like they're
We're not
robots.
addressing the issue.
Fine. Then eventually, then call it whatever you want to call it.
A
It's semantic
synthetic.
argument. It's
person.
a synthetic sentient life form or a synthetic human or
Yeah.
something. Whatever you want to call it, it doesn't change the concept.
Well, no,
can you
it
delete
absolutely
units
does,
in this
because
game,
now
by the
we
way?
have
No, it
created
doesn't.
an entirely different thing. Because
No,
now
but
we're
what
not
we're
talking about
creating won't
robots.
change. Dude, when people, Jesus fucking Christ, when people say robots will eventually become sentient, yes,
Then
it
they're not
means that
talking
at
about
that
robots.
point, yes, then eventually that thing that started out as a robot will become something that isn't a robot.
This is like saying that eventually a propeller aircraft will become a jet aircraft. No, they are two entirely
No,
different
we're not.
things.
Okay.
I've never
but
actually
then
heard
we leave
anybody-
ourselves open to the creeping definition of what sentience is.
Well, then we can use a definition, and then we can measure that up against the reality of what it is that we create, and we can test it.
Can you delete
so
units in
what
this
I'm
game?
saying, Rags, is are people allowed to rape their robot sex dolls?
Today, no. Well, I mean, they can't. You
What?
can't really.
Well, actually, they've created a rapeable one.
Yeah, they did create a rapeable robot.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's possible to today.
If
rape
it says
them.
no and you keep fucking it, it goes limp.
Well, is it saying no just because it's programmed to say no, or because it's
It
actually
says no
making
if you
a
rough it
decision?
up.
Well, I think
I
that's
don't
not
know.
quite as complicated as what the realness of, if you could say, the realness of actual consent is, being able to make informed decisions. I don't know if now.
Oh,
I
so
don't-
then I can't have sex with it at all because it's like a child. I get it.
No, I mean you can have sex. You can have sex with a bad dragon. It's not that it's consenting or not. It's a thing that can't make decisions.
Just like a robot.
At what point do we say that it can, though? That's the...
I don't know. That's the messy, weird
Yeah.
part that is going to be really
It
tough
never
for
can.
people in the future.
So
It's not
I say
messy for me
we
at all.
hedge our
It's
bets.
like, no.
Okay, none at all.
Yes.
To never do
I
it?
unmessied it.
Not non-organic.
My screwdriver will never have rights.
Yeah.
You know, the
We'll
only
never
way to
deserve
convince
them.
Arch that robots should have rights is like, what if robots come from outer space and they're more strong than us?
If you have a silicon-based life form that was somehow created by a cosmic bullshittery, then yeah, sure.
I mean, we're carbon-based life forms that were essentially created from cosmic bullshittery.
But it's a hell of a lot easier to create a life form from carbon than it is from silicon.
Sure.
Why should we fucking extend that consideration to silicon-based ones?
Because it will fuck you up, Sargon, if it manages to reach
Exactly. Because if you don't, you'll kill us. So, well, fuck you then. Then that gives us the excuse to kill you first.
Exactly. Like, violence solves
If
everything.
it's weaker than us, we kill it. That will be
Well,
the
that's-
fundament of human
If
diplomacy
we
in the
don't,
galaxy.
the silicon-based life forms are going to kill us.
What? If the life form will kill us or what?
Yeah, the silicon-based life forms will kill us if we don't do what they say.
I don't know how you can arrive at that conclusion.
That's what
Violence is the gold standard, Rags. It transcends species, it transcends race, it transcends cultures. Like, it is the gold standard in any negotiation.
I don't know. I don't go around killing things in every negotiation as the gold standard.
Well, depends. Like, if you'd have a bacteria that would cause a pandemic, I don't think you'd be very considerate about killing it or not.
Sure, if it was a bacteria that couldn't be reasoned with, that didn't have any.
Okay, what if it was sentient then?
I bet you haven't even tried to reason with a bacteria, you bigot.
I probably haven't, and that's a moral failing on my part, I guess. I'll have to work farther to be nicer to the bacteria around me.
Yeah,
Listen, bacteria. I'm giving all I can. I'm really trying.
Yeah, we don't even consider that. And even if it wasn't bacteria, like for example, this was a legit case, right? In a park, someone managed to befriend a bear. We're talking about the natural reserve. And the bear since then started being very friendly with the guests. And, you know, it would approach them, it would be very friendly. And the rangers put the bear down. The reason they put the bear down is because it's an unpredictable animal. And they didn't want the animal to one day potentially attack someone. And I agree with the ranger's decision.
Well, this actually advances into a very interesting point about animal behavior and whether or not they can be conditioned. This is one of my primary arguments against the guns, germs, and steel, by the way, because we humans have basically proven that if you breed it into them, virtually any human species can be a human species. No, humans too, for fuck's sake. But any species can be domesticated.
Yeah, they did that with foxes. Some species would be really difficult to domesticate, though.
Yeah, but who disagrees with that? Why?
Guns, Germs, and Steel. The book, Jared Diamond in there basically says that you can't domesticate certain species.
No. That's he was saying species for draft work, for farm work. Like the problem with the llama is it's just not strong enough to carry a human.
You know, not the llama, the zebra, for example. Zebra's plenty strong enough.
Oh, zebra can kill you with one kick. It's far more stronger than a horse. But it's also a lot more difficult. And I guess you can domesticate it, like it has been done.
Yeah, it probably has been done. And
but the problem is,
Guns, German Steel was not that they can't domesticate things. It's just there was nothing worth domesticating.
No. The problem with domesticating a zebra is that it could lead to fatalities, and it's very difficult to breed them in captivity as well. So
well, zebras have a different zebras and the horses that we use, the draft horses that we use, they're different in a social sense, which is why it's easier to get dogs to do what you want them to do instead of cats.
Well, that's also because of genetics. Like, we've been breeding them with the purpose to obtain desire, you know, like a friendliness towards humans for thousands of years.
Yes. Well, same with wolves.
Well,
Yeah.
Okay, but how do you explain someone training their cat to take a shit in the toilet and then flushing?
No, I can explain it.
Go on.
Cats, cats naturally want to hide their feces, which
How
is
do you train a cat to do something?
I mean, I don't know the process. You can train cats. Cats can be trained.
Yeah, I can tell you
anything.
No, I can tell you something that
Words with
can't be trained. Hold on. I can tell you something that can't be trained. There are species that literally cannot live in captivity, like the tits. You know, the birds. So if you can't have them in captivity, how are you going to train them?
We just haven't bred out the bad ones yet.
Yeah, I mean, keep enough like tits in captivity, and eventually one of them has to survive.
That's really funny.
Breeding pairs.
The question about large
Plus,
numbers.
this is all, and then again, this is tentative based on what we know. Who knows? Maybe there's a kind of enclosure that they're totally fine with.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we go by things we know. We just, I mean, by this logic, anything can be done.
Species on this earth we cannot enslave.
Yeah.
And then there's like termites. Like, how on earth can you train termites?
Killing them in large numbers.
Is it
I don't
all
know.
about killing
Maybe there's
with
a
the
process. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure a lot of it would have to do to the complexity of the creature's brain.
Yeah, that's another
and what
thing,
it's
yeah.
evolved to be, and what its role in its society is, and what it's even capable of understanding at that point.
Which is why we need to breed that into them very slowly, very surely, and probably over the course of fucking centuries. But everything can be enslaved at some point. Which is, of course, a worthwhile endeavor, in my opinion.
I don't think you can enslave bacteria, though.
I'm sure we can. We already have fucking,
Oh yeah, the one that gives insulin.
Yes.
I
There you go,
forgot.
me.
I don't think it's E. coli, it's something else. Staphylococcus, I think? Jesus.
I beat V up on medicine stuff.
Yeah, I did start reading again, it's been 4 years.
I have not yet found anyone. Where are you? I want to come
I'm
kill you.
literally still fighting the fucking AI.
Let's see what the chat says about this burglary. Self-diagnosis showing damage could be analogous to pain.
Yeah, and if that comes with some kind of a sensory perception node or whatever you'd like to call it inside of a synthetic brain that relays information that creates
Then you have
even
to kill
against
it.
its will.
Then it will not be pain. Then it will be an electrical signal. A 1 saying
What do you
error.
think our pain is?
Yeah, but that is our pain, Arch. That is a little
That's
bit.
our
No,
pain.
we have not programmed to feel that pain.
No, it's
And
an
there's nothing-
electrical
we
signal
can't
to the
just
brain.
deny it if
in a
it's
way,
convenient.
by our genetics, in the sense.
Genetics and robots have basically nothing in common.
No, but what he's saying, and this is actually correct, what we perceive as pain is an electrical impulse to the brain.
Yeah, the pain in and of itself is not the impulse itself. It's the results of the impulse and the experience that comes as
Yeah,
a
but
result.
it's not a question about impulses. There's a whole line of code revolving around that, and if it's about specific damage, then it's a very complex line of code. Not to mention this is then as a
Okay.
result of a self-diagnosis system. Comparing this to human pain is apples to horses' assholes.
I mean, I guess the way it
I
could
think
work
they
is
do-
like
they
if
do pretty much
you're
the same thing. The way that they are executed would be different, but they would create the same thing.
I mean, hold on. If you program a machine to be with self-preservation in mind, and it does an analysis and it realizes it's damaged and is going to potentially stop functioning if the damage continues, then I guess, yeah, that would be interpreted the same way we would interpret pain.
Well,
Okay,
not
look,
necessarily.
this is
Pain-
this is the real point of distinction, and it's a machine is entirely governed by reason, right? It's not an emotional thing. A human is an emotional thing.
I mean,
This is what I was saying earlier when I meant
machines
this is what I meant
now-
earlier. I don't see how something that operates using code couldn't be anything but a rational machine, right?
Well,
And
you know,
this is what I mean is like
I don't know,
this
but
is effectively this is effectively like a biological supremacist point of view that we're arguing, because a machine doesn't have the same sort of emotions that we have. It doesn't have like it doesn't feel like we feel as a very living
sure.
organism.
Now, yeah, I
perspective.
agree.
Well, no, I don't think they. I mean, I don't think they can. We can ever be sure that they do. You will
I'm
never
not
know
sure that they. I'm not sure that they ever will. I'm certainly
Yeah,
not going
but
to rule
even
it
if
out.
even if they appear to, you won't be able to know that they do.
Well, I appear to
Never
feel
be
pain. You
able
don't
to
know
teach
if I
a
feel
wrench
pain.
pain.
No, I don't know. I think that dumbing it down to a wrench is a little. I don't think that's really fair to the idea.
toaster.
Anything
Right?
that
Okay,
it is,
explain to me the difference between the robots. So, like, what is it? Like, well, what is it that makes it different?
What's a difference between a wrench, which is
Yeah,
just
a robot.
metal, and a potential future synthetic brain that can execute commands and make reasons and decisions and evaluate its environment and experience things based on the impulses in that brain. What's the difference between those two?
Uh-huh. I can get a computer to do all of those fucking things.
I think the amount that it can do those things in the future will be a big point of contention.
So it's a question about scale.
Scale and complexity, yeah, I think so.
Uh-huh. What's the cutoff point? When does metal
I
stop
don't-
being metal and
I
start
don't
being
know.
human?
I don't know. As I've said multiple times, I don't know the exact point.
Yeah, no, never is the correct answer to that
Well,
question.
no, we don't know if that's a correct answer. We don't know yet. I don't think that it's. I don't think that we can say right now that it will never be a certain way, or that it definitely will be a certain way.
I can say that I will never fly.
Well, you've been in an airplane.
Well, well,
Checkmate.
sure. You as an individual, I could say with almost complete certainty that you will never be able to.
But we don't know, Rags. What if an alien comes from an UFO and gives them the ability to fly? We just don't know.
But I think that the better analogy would be that in any amount of time, is it possible that humans evolve the ability to fly? That would be the better analogy, instead of you as an individual. Evolution occurs to populations, not individuals.
Naturally? No, I don't think there is any potential for humans to naturally evolve the ability to fly.
What if an alien comes from the UFO and gives humans the potential to fly?
I don't think that they will, but I don't think it's not impossible.
See, we don't know, Arch. We just don't know.
No, here's the thing. I'm not gonna say never. I mean, birds used to be dinosaurs. Who knows what...
Checkmate, Arch. Birds used to be
No, in reality, we are entering into points of such floaty non-specificness that it is literally pigs flying.
Yeah, Rags, if you're going to apply critical theory to everything, I mean, I can just do it as well. You know, like, you need to have...
What have I said that's wrong?
We have basically arrived at the point of pigs will eventually fly, because we can't rule out the possibility that they can't eventually fly.
No, I'm saying pigs do not fly right now. I'm not going to say that they will never ever fly. I will act as if they will never fly.
Yeah, that's the point.
It's like
you say that maybe in the future pigs are going to
I know,
take
yeah,
off.
maybe in the future.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You can't have discussions like this. It's like if something is highly improbable.
The whole point of this discussion is about what things will be like in the far, far future.
And we have to base that on some level of reality that we know right now.
Exactly. You can't just, say, oh, well, in the future, maybe pigs will fly. It's like, on what level of reality do you honestly think that pigs are going to take off?
Oh, well, I can base it on the fact that populations of animals undergo vast biological changes over time. That's something that we know happens. How would
it advantage the pig to gain the evolutionary ability of flight?
It can hunt from a greater height.
Flying is a huge evolutionary
How would it
ability.
advantage the creature to be able to fly?
Yes! Not all like you're talking about the pig, alright? Like the evolutionary changes it would need to go through before it even begins to develop wings.
Incredibly vast, yes.
We have, I mean, I'm done. I'll notch that up there. We have arrived at the point where the pigs can fly argument is basically the intrinsical point upon which this rests. I'm like, yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay.
Let me read some other super chats.
Yeah, go.
So straight landowners only should vote. Sounds okay. How far removed from men would women in society have to be in order for them to push back and hang all the feminists are dooming them to a life of isolation and loneliness? Well,
honestly, I don't think women are that far from.
Jesus.
Could you say the super chat one more time?
No. I'm getting in trouble with Susan Wojcicki.
You will be in trouble with her.
Why? What have I done
already? We're all in trouble. We're all on the shit list.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get saved by YouTube at any point.
Besides, we're just reading out what someone else said. We're not necessarily agreeing with it, and it's someone else's
question. Just because you deleted Ralph's channel for less, I mean, you know.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Arch is wasting time on AI, but what about sanctioned cat girls and fox girls? These are the important questions in life.
I absolutely agree. We are wasting far too much money on not creating biological slave species of cat girls. I see no point in using money for any other real purpose.
Any robot...
Just because cat girls and fox girls would exist, they still wouldn't go out with you.
That's why we enslave them.
It's not the same.
Any robot...
I'll be happy with it. Like, if my options are between not having a cat girl or enslaving the cat girl, right, I'm sorry, but we're gonna have slave markets again. Apologies, but it's necessary.
I think iPhone will have an app for
it. You forced my hand.
So,
It didn't have to be this way, Rags.
Precisely.
Centurions means to feel pain, sapiens means intelligence. Stop confusing the two. I blame Star Trek, they started the crap. Any robot designed with a sense of touch and aversion to damage to itself has a sense of pain. Machines
we are now stretching
slaves.
the definition of pain by a degree to which I had never thought I'd actually see.
Machines are slaves. Abominable intelligence is a sin.
Machines are indeed slaves, this is correct.
So how
we
far
haven't
removed
said
from
something,
men would
please.
women in society have to be in order for them to push back and hang all the feminists for dooming them to a life of isolation and loneliness?
it's
Okay,
not gonna
so
be
the
long
guy
now,
is
to be
talking
honest.
about women happiness lowering with the rise of feminism. A lot of feminists are men. I guess like this is the
Yeah.
argument.
Yeah, it's not going to be long now.
I mean, it's already happening. What was it in the British study? Was it 10% of women identify as feminists?
Yeah. 35% roughly were actively opposed to feminism as well.
Because feminism is cancer.
Yeah. Because Islam is right about women.
Islam is correct. unlike
Okay, I
studies
know,
on-
I know how to give
Converts.
robots pain, and why would you do it? Alright,
Okay, go on.
So you
For
want
sexual purposes.
No. Listen. You want to create a way for
No,
humans to live
ironically,
on past their death, and you would transport their consciousness into a robot, which actually is able to feel everything a human does.
Yeah, sure, but in that case, I want to be able to turn
I
off
don't-
the pain. Thank you very much.
I don't know if that's possible.
Oh, now it's not possible.
No, I'm not saying it's not possible. You need to listen. I'm not saying it's not possible. It's like I don't think that it's possible. It might be, but I think that it wouldn't be possible to transfer it, but to copy it is what would be a more accurate way to probably describe what would happen.
Why would you? Who would pay for that then?
I don't know. I think a lot of people would pay to, if they died, create a. Well, this is like the teleport or the what are they called? The in Star Trek the transporters.
Yeah, but the
Which, in
transporters-
theory, would probably just kill you.
Yeah, the transporters
they
don't
would
kill
kill
you,
you.
Rag.
They
They
annihilate
just-
you and split you up and send you back. But
Yeah, but they don't kill you. That's the whole thing. Like they.
Well, no, it
They
does,
do,
because
though. They do.
if your body has been ripped apart on the cellular level, the you that is you is dead.
yeah,
They actually had the
that appears
discussion.
somewhere else is somebody
No,
else.
no. They actually had the discussion in Star Trek in an episode about this. They don't kill you. Like the mumbo jumbo science. in
Yeah,
Star
well, the
Trek.
Bible says God.
Yes, that's precisely it. The mumbo jumbo science. Like, okay, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
teleporters are mumbo jumbo science because again, like if a teleporter would exist, yeah, it would kill you.
Yes,
No one
but
would use it.
they have stated how the teleporter functions, and the way that they stated the teleporter function kills you.
The way I understand it, it
pretty sure
disintegrates
Lawrence
every
Krauss
atom
wrote a
of your
book about
body, and then it
this,
sends
Physics of Star Trek.
No. Okay, so it disintegrates the atoms from your body. It then
Yes.
sends those atoms with faster than light speed to the destination, and it reassembles you at the destination. So it's your same atoms.
Disintegrating the atoms was where they had.
Yeah,
it,
but
that
that's
kills you.
that's where the death comes in.
Yeah, that means you are dead.
Yeah, it's just the thing
Your
that
body does
happens-
not survive.
Yeah, the thing that's rebuilt on the other side has all of your memories and all of your experiences as those memories. It
it will
is
not
it is
be
you with in quotation marks, but you died and a new you took its place essentially.
Which is
But you're
why in
able
Star
to-
Trek, I would be a fucking Luddite.
Which,
Yeah,
I
mean,
wouldn't.
this is
I
the
wouldn't
thing.
be going
Like,
into any.
would you
teleporter.
ever use a teleporter if
No.
that was the case?
No.
Absolutely
no,
not.
no.
No.
But even then, like, if we could use a teleporter, and let's say that it actually functions the way it's supposed to be functioning, how would you prove that it's actually functioning the way it's supposed to function if that just make a copy of you?
By
I'm
sending
not
some
going-
other
I'm
poor
not going
shit
straight
in
away.
through it.
That's actually an interesting.
Yeah, the poor shit goes like, yeah, I'm fine. You know, it's,
Well,
it's
there's
No,
no-
we can
there's no
actually
problem.
test this because we know how the teleporter functions. Like
Yeah,
we
you'd
find
get
it.
ripped apart. You're dead.
Yes, and
don't
if
see
that
the
is how it
teleporter-
functions, then no.
Yeah,
You
but
did.
why couldn't the teleporter just act as a clone machine?
Well, that's essentially what it is at that point.
Exactly.
Well,
That's
yeah,
exactly it. So it's effectively a clone of you on the other side that we can't distinguish from the original. But the original has been deconstructed, atom by atom.
Yeah, but
So-
those, no. The thing is, like, the way it works in Star Trek, right? The original thing is deconstructed atom by atom, and then the atoms are the same atoms, right? Like, not a copy of those atoms. The same
yeah.
atoms are being placed together.
Yes, but your atoms are not you.
yeah,
I
you're
am
you're a
the
little
sum
bit
of
more
my
than the
atoms.
sum.
Yeah, but that's
I
the-
think
yeah, but-
more than the sum of parts, but
It's the
I
ship of Theseus argument, V.
exactly. I was just about to say. Except, I guess the only difference between this and Theseus' ship is that you have to distinguish between which of two concurrent things is the real one, and with the teleporter, there's never two. It's only one at a time.
Yeah, but the argument for the ship of Theseus is basically it's the contiguous form that is the thing that we understand, but the contiguous part is in constant conjunction with itself. If there's a break in that, then it's not the same thing.
I would think that in a teleporter, since there is a point in time where only one of them exists at any given point, and there's nothing to compare it to. I mean, it's pretty clear. At least I think that it rips you apart and sends you somewhere else, instead of it being built from an already existing and still existing model that we have.
I don't understand how 510 people are listening to this pergery with enjoyment and sending super chats. Like,
because it's late at fucking night. And
no, I get that. But when I actually make a stream, I read articles, I prepare, I'm thinking what
I think these are interesting concepts.
shit
I think they're
boring.
very interesting.
Yeah. Then I get like 200 people watching, and I'm like, God damn it!
This is more interesting, that's why.
I should make more of
Plus,
this.
it has me.
Yeah, plus it has Arch.
It does have Arch.
I would like to also point out at this point I am stacking 3 plus damage pylons. You guys are going to have a lot of fun when you run into me.
What are you playing?
Damage pylon is.
Tyranids.
They're playing their
Oh my god, you're
Warhammer
playing again
game.
the one that bugs the game? Because you have like 500 units?
I do have quite a few
Hey,
units.
why do you
this is
keep
correct.
sending autists over to me?
You know what? Every single game I find Sargon, I start fighting him. And then I lose half my army and Arch comes. So, you know what? I'm not going to attack Sargon now. I'm
Don't.
Fuck off.
Precisely. Don't attack Sargon then. This is that whole strategy bit, V, where you're like, oh, will I lose more than I gain from this? If the answer to that question is yes, then don't.
Well, what if Sargon only has 10 units and V has 20 units, but V would lose 11 units if he killed Sargon's only 10?
Then I would swoop in and molest V until he cried like a little girl.
Until he cried like a sex doll.
See, I entirely
such a
see
big
the
turn
reason
off.
why you would want to have a sex doll cry, because there's niche markets out there.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a market for it. It's really, rape is really off-putting to me. Like in a sexual, like a fetishy kind of way.
That's
It's
right,
really-
because you're not an E.L. James fan.
It's a
obviously
power
it goes
trip.
without saying,
Like-
before this gets clipped, obviously, the moral implications are terrible as well. But like we're just talking about the lewdness of it, the
Hey,
getting done part. I just ugh.
The
So,
thing-
like rape.
since we're on the subject of things being clipped, right? What was Vorsh doing actually advocating in favor of child porn?
Oh
What?
no,
Did you not see that?
I did.
We have to be logically consistent. But
What is with
I can't-
leftists and communists that eventually reach to the point where the Green Party in Germany reached during the Weimar Republic, that pedophilia is okay?
I don't know, but what was he being logically consistent about? I can't even remember. Like,
Let
it
me
was
see,
just
I gotta
somehow
remember.
logically consistent to allow it. And I was like, right.
I think it was because it was about the computer and the silicon mining.
What?
Oh, that was right. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
enslaving children. therefore
I
child
guess
porn's okay.
for those in chat who are not aware of the clip, Vegan Games was having a discussion. big brain Vosh, and Vosh's galaxy brain take was that in order for him to be logically consistent with himself, since buying a computer that has a lithium battery or whatever battery, which is obtained using slave labor in Africa,
But they
then
actually
at the
aren't,
same
though.
way he can't have a problem with pedophiles who indulge in child pornography.
How is that similar?
Yeah, I'm
I
wondering
think if
how
you,
these
you have to
connect.
strip this to the most basic, bare, most dully fundamental, the simplest potential level you could possibly do to get any blood out of this stone.
I mean, the reason they stopped advocating for dismantling sweatshops in the third world is because it actually leads to child prostitution. Like, there was this great opponent against child labor, and he just destroyed all of the sweatshops. And what happened was that a very booming child prostitution industry took its place. So when Taiwan wanted to take down its sex shops, the same guy was like, no, don't do it. It's bad.
Yeah, but, yeah, okay, so this is all well and good, but again, how do you arrive from data point A microchips to data point B.
Well, no,
porn.
it's not about the microchips. It could be anything else. The microchips were the specific example used, but what Vosh is trying to get at is essentially the idea of if we partake in any kind of a product or a service that in any way exploits anything along the way as part of its creation, across the world, any person, whatever it is, then we, if we're being logically consistent, cannot have a problem with the pedophile who indulges in child pornography, even if the child pornography involves the obvious sexual exploitation of children, because those things are, at their base level, fundamentally equal.
Okay, so I'll be the first to go on record to say that I don't believe enslaving children is actually the moral equivalent of raping them. But I think one is actually worse than the other.
Yeah, I too am pro enslaving children. I don't like little
this
bastards.
Yeah, this is like drawing a direct distinction between, I guess, charging, if you're a landlord and you charge maybe $1 too much for rent by somebody, that is just as, that is on the same level of exploitation as a pedophile watching child pornography.
This is why communists are insane.
Yeah, this is like we're equating two things that are vastly different in their scale. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. I never thought I'd say it, but I'm with Vegan Gains on this one.
Right? He made Vegan Gains the reasonable party. The throat cutting guy. Like, fucking hell.
Throat cutter guy.
People want to know if water is wet.
I don't know that story.
Oh, there was a thing a while ago where Vegan Games was basically acting like a maniac on a stream and saying how he's fantasizing about killing some other guy, and it's just like, guy. I mean, he was genuinely kind of scary. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
like, okay,
Did you know that a guy changed his name to Sexy Vegan and is now arrested for having sex with a dog? I felt like vegans are the type.
Wait, is a vegan allowed to have sex with a dog?
Yeah, that's the
Hold
thing. Like
on,
they
hold
shouldn't
on.
have meat inside them.
I don't think vegans
Well,
are allowed
what if
to
they were
have
inside
sex.
meat,
Whoa,
though, Pete?
meat inside of
You
him.
could say that
the
he
dog
was
was
having-
fucking him.
He was just having a hot dog. That is why.
What's
So if the dog was fucking him, that would work. But if he was
but
fucking the
can you
dog, either
imagine,
way,
like-
I don't think vegans aren't allowed to fuck animals. It's just we got to be consistent here.
Can you imagine if the guy becomes a judge and it's like, all rise, the honorable Sexy Vegan? You know, that how much narcissism can you have to change your name into Sexy Vegan? Just Google the guy, like when you see his face.
To be
it's
fair,
even more
I
funny.
haven't seen him. Maybe he is a sexy vegan.
No, Google it. You'll just
All right, I will Google sexy vegan. I'll put that on my computer.
Yeah, Sexy Vegan has sex with a dog. Yeah, just do
Sexy
that.
vegan
That's
arrested.
probably not on an FBI watch list or anything.
All right, so sexy vegan is not. There you go. Oh my, he's the opposite of sexy. He's very unsexy.
I can't believe it.
Sexy vegan is not a sexy vegan. I feel as if I've been lied to.
False advertisement strikes again. Tis a scourge upon mankind.
Did he? I
Funny
guess he
message
got
saying
like.
lose some
I
weight.
guess he got like tattoos or something on him. Are those markers or tattoos?
I don't know. It would be funny if he's not even a vegan.
Because he has the words "sexy vegan" on his forehead. And they seem to be on like all of these pictures. I think he's tattooed "sexy vegan"
Yeah.
right
he
above
changed
his tattooed
name. He
blue
tattooed
eyebrows.
his name on his forehead. Yep.
Okay.
Wow, this person is
Sounds
clearly not all
reasonable.
there. He's a perfect fit for YouTube if I ever saw one. It's where he belongs.
And apparently he had sex with a dog. But again, like I thought that vegans shouldn't have meat inside them. So I don't know. Does that count?
Well, what if he fucked the dog? Then the
No,
dog would
he
have meat
didn't.
inside
It's
it.
described in the article. He did not.
The dog fucked him.
The dog fucked him. Yes.
Oh, I see. You'd
As
think,
long
you'd
as we're
think
being
with
accurate here.
well, if you were the kind of person who was so confident in their appearance that you were tattooing "sexy vegan" to your forehead, you shouldn't have to resort to being fucked by animals.
I mean,
Well, that's just
Maybe he thought that maybe it was.
I don't know.
all
You
from
checkmated
their
me on
point of
that
view
one.
from-
I don't know what to say.
I wouldn't tattoo words on my forehead. I go. Oh, we could. If you had to tattoo a word on your forehead, what would it be?
This
Sexy
is not a
carnivore.
tattoo.
Huh?
If I were to have to tattoo a word on my forehead, I think I would have to go with something along the lines of See, that's a bit of a tricky one, but I think maybe Audi, just to really throw people off.
Audi?
Yes. It's like, is that your
Really?
name?
Why is-
Or do you just like the car, or?
Really? That's
Is it product
that's interesting.
placement?
Oh,
Yeah, maybe I could
Because,
even... I could ask Audi, like, would you like to pay me for this?
the only thing that you would tattoo on your forehead that it would be absolutely true would be forever unemployed.
Well, you know what? That would actually fit you, Arch, because Audi is Latin for listen.
Ah, wonderful.
I would have the word "I" on my forehead just so that I could get rid of it easily. You see, I'm going for the yeah. Sargon's next.
I don't know. What would I get?
Liberalist.
What would I get tattooed on my forehead?
Liberalist.
Yeah. No, I always hate that kind of defining yourself by political labels thing, because what it kind of says is you're never going to change your mind. You know,
It also implies that you're never not going to be sexy, and eventually he will get old, and he will regret immensely the fact that he wrote the word "sexy vegan" on his old ass body. Assuming he lives to be old, he, as crazy as this person is, that might not
exactly.
be
You know,
it.
anything that's transient like that, you wouldn't want to write. I'd probably just write "cunt," just so people,
just
as a conversation starts.
Could
But-
my
but you
Why you
desire
got "cunt" written on your forehead? Well, I'm looking at one.
Then too, you enter into like defining territory. Like, why have you written cunt? Is that you telling somebody that you are a cunt, or are you calling them a cunt? You know, so on.
Who knows? That's the point. Deliberately ambiguous.
It might disqualify you from a job here and there, though. Like if you tattooed like "hello" or you know, something like that, maybe you'd get nicer jobs.
Yeah, but you
That
might
is
also be
frightfully
treated like
boring.
you've got mental problems.
Oh, this one is really good.
Probably. Would you? Well, listen. Would you rather if you had to hire between two people, and one had "cunt" on his forehead and the other had "hello"? You know,
I'd
which
probably hire the
would look
cunt,
better
yeah.
in the suit. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, it depends what the job is.
I mean, yeah, if he was like a bouncer, then maybe a bouncer with the word "cunt" tattooed onto his
Right.
forehead. I wouldn't
Probably
be.
saves a lot of
Professional
problems.
wrestler. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
his
There's
wrestling name is also "cunt."
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's surprisingly easy to become a professional wrestler. Okay, if Jim Sterling managed it, I think most people probably
Jim
could.
Sterling.
Jim
Uh-huh.
Sterling,
Yes,
He
his
managed to
alter
become-
ego is Stardust.
What?
Stardust. But first off, it's really
This
gay.
is an
but
actual thing.
he was an actual wrestler, like real wrestling or the fakey show wrestling.
Amateur wrestling, I believe, is the term. Like
Oh
he
my
dresses
God.
up with other overweight men, and they throw each other around on a ring and shit. It's adorable.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
That's terrifying.
Oh, what?
Oh, what hath
What?
God wrought?
Hang on, I'm just watching.
That
the
is
thing.
that is definitely intrinsic to Jim Sterling.
I'm just watching it. Hang on.
The fact that Arch is aware of this lore is baffling.
Yeah.
He didn't
surely
make it
doesn't
difficult
promote
to
this
find,
on his
let's just
Twitter
say.
feed.
Yeah,
Oh
why
no,
doesn't
no,
he
no!
promote it?
He absolutely promotes this on his Twitter feed.
Fucking cringe.
So listen to this super chat. The reason why Britain is so fucked is because they based a society off of a vegan leaf water.
Oh my god, he actually is fat as fuck as well.
He's a big old boy. He's indeed.
Doesn't he look exactly like his wife?
Well, Stardust doesn't.
Stardust doesn't look like Jim.
close.
Stardust doesn't look like Jim Sterling's wife.
No, it's Stardust. It's not
Stardust?
Stardust.
Stardust?
S-T-E-R.
S-T-I-R?
E-R.
As in
Stardust.
to mix. Oh my goodness,
No,
Stardust.
no, S-T-E-R.
Steer? Steer?
Oh,
S-T-E-R.
Sterling. I guess for Sterling, it's Stardust.
But
It's clever.
By attempting to make it clever, it made less sense and caused more confusion.
By the way, Arch, I got a question for you. Because you know about the war and stuff. You see it in the movies, you know, like the soldiers are misbehaving and the commissar shoots one of them and they all get inspired. Does that actually work in real life, or people just pick up a gun and shoot the commissar instead?
No, it actually works wonderfully. It is extraordinarily rare for a soldier, even under the threat to his life, to actively oppose authority. They're drilled into this. Like, it's a part of military life. Like, the commissar is the ultimate authority. If he shoots one of your friends, as far as you are concerned, he's still the ultimate authority.
The way it was told to me by a guy who actually did the training with the Mountain Rangers division is that at one point an officer actually put a gun to one person's head, and literally everyone just rose up and surrounded the officer and said, "All right, you got 6 bullets. There's 30 of us."
I'm sure it's not impossible.
That is a very modern thing. And it did happen in the Red Army as well, where they would shoot their commissars, but there's also a particularly vile example from the early days of Barbarossa, where the Germans had overrun vast quantities of Red Army soldiers. In one area of plains in particular, the Red Army troops had been ordered to dig in and hold no matter what. And so they had done that. The commissars had been in the forefront of doing it. The Germans eventually discovered a group of one Red Army soldier and one commissar who had been in a literal just hole in the ground, like a little tunnel complex they had dug out themselves. They had been there for so long, because the Germans hadn't bothered cleaning up, they just surrounded it and then waited for the Russians presumably to surrender. And when they fucking didn't, they eventually wandered in there. And they had been there for so long, they had completely run out of food. The commissar had then shot the other people in there, slowly but surely, killing them one by one, until it was just him and one guy left, and they had eaten the other people.
Jesus. Yeah, this is what I don't get. Like, if you were in that hole, Arch, at what point would you think, alright, I need to shoot this guy or else I'm next?
Well, when you're
Probably
the
quite
last guy,
early.
presumably.
Yeah, I imagine when I know that I'm the next one in line, I'm gonna go, okay, now. Especially if he's the only witness.
Yeah,
Like,
the thing that I know with soldiers is that no matter how much your colleague might hate you, like he might hate your guts, but when you're in the LZ under fire, like that is the guy that will get out of the helicopter to drag you back. So killing, like, you know, you're killing their comrades, their brothers in arms. I mean, maybe you do it once and you get away with it, or twice, but I'm pretty sure friendly fire is going to happen at one point.
Oh,
well, friendly fire is
almost
different than
certainly.
an intentional.
No, we're to be speaking friendly fire in the most
Quote unquote. Yeah.
theoretical term.
Friendly fire in the most unfriendly way.
Yes.
Yes. When Mr. Torpedo leaves the tube, he is no longer neither your nor anybody else's friend. The same is true for bullets.
This Jim Sterling thing is the weirdest thing I've ever heard. Like, he's just yelling at the audience.
Well, that's what he does for a living.
Yeah, to be fair,
Does
that's
he do
not...
YouTube for a living?
He yells at the audience for a living.
I would tattoo. I wouldn't even rape you on my forehead.
I wouldn't even rape you.
Yeah.
That's nice to know, I suppose.
He doesn't
I mean,
even
if
fight this
you
guy.
felt that confident in it to tattoo it on your forehead.
Yeah, Sargon, you should tattoo. I wouldn't even rape you.
It
on your
is
forehead.
amateur wrestling, Sargon. You know, you can't expect too much.
Yeah, but he doesn't do anything to him.
Yeah, but look at Jim Sterling and then go like, oh, he doesn't jump around enough. Duh.
No, he doesn't even touch him. Like, there's no contact.
Once again,
It's the
look at
total
Jim
laugh.
Sterling.
I would say that even amateur wrestling would involve touching the other person.
Yeah, some contact surely is necessary for it to be considered to be wrestling.
Yeah, but if you do even the most small contact against Jim Sterling's fragile face, it would break
first
his
and
already
foremost,
fragile
like-
masculinity.
Imagine punching Jim Sterling. Like, it would be like punching wet cake. You'd feel it's just like, oh, God, get it
Well,
off my hand.
you would be punching wet cake just with a layer of skin in between you.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to do that. It sounds like a horrible thing.
Yeah, but you're not punching. I mean, like this. Surely shoving or throwing or something is involved.
Yeah, but again, now you're touching him.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying I would want to do it, but like, if you're wrestling, you've got to do something.
Sargon's like, yeah, I would never do these disgusting things, but other people, I expect them to fucking do it.
Well,
Well,
they
if that's
volunteered
what
to
they
get in the
sign up
ring with
for in
him.
wrestling,
Yeah, they signed up for it. I don't agree with this. I think this is a moral abomination. Jim
it's
Sterling.
like I would
with
expect a soldier to
spandex.
kill someone. I wouldn't expect a garbage collector to kill someone.
Yeah. You signed up for this.
These are just some wildly different standards, in my opinion. I disavow.
No, I've seen a lot of amateur wrestling where it's goofy and silly, but they like try to sort of kind of wrestle. It's more about the entertainment than the actual wrestling, but
I
feel like
found,
this
I
might be a
found,
misnomer.
I found it out. He's doing something in the ring. Like, here's a link. Have a look. Just put it on mute and just watch.
Is this a snack?
Why
It
is
is a
why are
snack.
Archie's units spitting on me?
Nom 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 nom. It tastes like Imperial Guardsmen.
I feel like I'm being attacked by gypsies. They constantly spit at me.
Jim Sterling just fell over.
Oh, delicious.
Oh,
They crunch so neatly in your teeth.
Jesus,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
genuinely worried he's going to have a heart attack.
I like the fact that Sargon is completely hypnotized by that.
It is two jumps and he had to tag out. I'm not joking. He is so unbelievably large. He's shaped like a pear as well. He's like a bell. It's just like the midriff. I mean, like, I'm not a skinny guy, but holy shit, Jim, I feel fucking svelte looking at you, buddy. Like, I feel good. I'm like, you know what? I have been cutting down on my food a lot recently. I feel fucking fine now.
To all the people with 8 issues out there, just watch Jim Sterling and you'll feel better.
Yeah. No, you really will.
Yeah, you know what I would pay to see? I would donate money to a charity. I would gather, I think $10,000. I would make a bank club just to see this. Jim Sterling versus Bob Chipman in a ring.
Oh my goodness. Could
Cake
Christina
versus cinnamon
Hoff
roll.
Sommers be the judge?
Cake versus cinnamon roll.
Who would have a heart attack first?
I wanna see Cinema Roberto in a fight with anybody. I ain't picky. He would be magnificent, I'm certain.
Yeah. Eugenics Bob is not a natural fighter.
Film Robert, man. Oh, what a character.
He is a eugenicist.
What did he say when the eugenics problem?
Unironically, he said the Nazis ruined eugenics.
Yeah, he said the Nazis he said he lamented the fact that the Nazis really kind of ruined the reputation that eugenics had.
Yeah, a lot of people
Fucking Nazis! I knew there was something wrong about.
Yeah.
A lot of
They should
people
have
don't
been. They should have had a lot
realize
more of
this.
a PR focus with their eugenics program.
A lot of
really
people don't know about this, but like eugenics was, you know, like the scientific consensus at the time, even in the U.S. and the rest of Europe.
And the Nazis just ruined that.
Yeah, they ruined it for everyone.
And Bob wants to go back to that scientific consensus to build his perfect world.
Fucking
Mensch
Nazis.
like us don't exist.
No bad tactics, only bad targets.
Yeah, exactly.
If you are for
Nazis ruined so
teleportation,
many
watch The
things.
Prestige.
I love the Prestige.
But is water wet? No, water isn't wet. Like, it is the proper like in order. No. I'll explain. I'll explain how it is. Right. In order for something to be wet, it also needs to be dry, so that it changes its property. You can't have something that is constantly wet. So water makes things wet, but it itself is not wet. Just like fire burns things.
Checkmate, Oozaloo.
Yeah.
They fucking contain your autism
Would
or
you
else.
say that?
No,
would
that's
you say
my
that
argument. I
fire
think
is on
that's correct.
fire? I know. I also
No,
agree that
Yeah,
water
that's the
isn't.
thing. Fire
it's,
isn't on
yeah.
fire. Like in order
Fire
for
isn't on fire. It
Yeah,
is
in order for something to be on fire, it needs to also be not on fire.
flammable.
Yeah, it needs to be flammable. Exactly. Thank you.
You can't burn fire, says
No,
me.
you can't burn fire. Yeah.
Nobel Prize awarded. I've discovered you can't burn fire.
Years of trying and I just can't get water wet.
The scientific community is just rolling. They can't. Oh my god! This whole time. This
Yeah,
whole time.
engineers are
We
baffled.
were trying to go to Mars and shit, but fuck, man.
This is where the real science at.
Give robots feminism; they will feel the pain.
Star Wars has already beaten us to it.
M cells hooking up with cats is
That's not a nice thing to
cattyarchy.
say about Daisy Ridley.
Rags, shut your dog mouth, don't ruin my animal girl waifu dreams. I have so little as an engineering student, and I will hold to that bad doggo.
Listen, I'm sure that out there somewhere in the distant future, there is a fox girl / cat girl who's just right for you. Even Hitler had his Eva, all right? Jim Sterling's married, right? There's someone out there for everybody. I'm sure that goes for you too. There's the perfect cat girl out there for you. Never stop looking. Because you stop looking, you're just dooming yourself.
Can you imagine if you die a virgin and you realize on their last death moments, it's like, even Hitler had Eva.
Man, there really is. There's someone out there for everyone. There's just as many crazy women as crazy men out there.
Oh my god.
Maybe-
Jim
maybe more,
Sterling's.
but- ugh.
Sorry. Look, this is breaking news, okay? Jim Sterling's Stardust account is basically like internet blood sports for wrestling.
Good for him.
I wish him luck in all of his wrestling endeavors.
Right now, there are humans flying in space, just saying. Ooh, take that, Arch. Take that.
I don't care. Are there pigs flying in space?
Yes, if you get a pig in space, it will fly, Arch.
Yeah, but it's not in space, now is it?
I'm sure you
It's
can
not in
push it out of the
fucking
airlock.
space, it doesn't matter. If there is not a space-born little porker, then the argument is invalid.
I'm very much against our own little Iron Man uprising. We may not have a chaotic war,
You've already read this, V, you autistic
I?
little forgetful.
Yeah. Jesus, you're a memory man.
My memory? I think the problem here is yours, I firmly believe.
V, watch
Yes.
Mahler's stream on the movie. It's terrible. I don't want spoilers. I want to watch The Terminator first, and then I'll watch Mahler's stream.
Yeah, I'm not gonna see it. I think he said he was gonna make a video on it. He said it was absolutely terrible, which doesn't surprise me, but it's nifty to get some confirmation.
I mean, it's The Terminator. I expect it to be bad, but I want to be entertained while I'm in the cinema, right? Like, you just not be bored to the point where I want to leave. There are very few movies where I literally wanted to leave the cinema, though. So
Yeah, I'm the same way. Even if a movie's terrible, I feel like I should stay to the end and finish it.
let me think if I can remember.
You don't
a
have an
recent one.
obligation to the movie, Rags. You do what you
Well,
want.
it's not an obligation. It's like I would want to know like the whole way through. It's like I would still want to watch the whole thing.
In the sequel,
I
made me
will
wanna
say I
leave.
almost walked out of Where the Wild Things Are. That's the closest I ever got to walking out, and it was the first 5 minutes. I was actually legit close to walking out.
To me, it was the sequel.
The sequel.
Yeah.
You mean the most recent one that came out? or
Yeah, I
the
like the
one?
first one a lot, but the sequel was just making me want to get up and leave. It was so boring and predictable.
Really boring. Well, if horror shouldn't be predictable.
Yeah, I mean,
Keep
it
you on your
literally was just a copy paste thing. Like they would all have to find an item, and
Yeah.
they got separated, and they would all go somewhere where they would see something scary from their past. No one would die, and it just went on repeat. The same movie. It was like, all right, now this guy needs to go and do his quest, and now it's this guy that does his quest, and so on. It's just like, oh.
Yeah, I'm just not a horror movie fan in general. I just don't really care for them. Some I've really liked. I think I'd probably rather play a horror game than watch a horror
Yeah,
movie.
same. I mean, the thing with horror is that I've seen so much that it's very difficult for me to get scared anymore.
I think for me, it's the more. It's like monsters don't spook me or scare me. Not usually, at least. But like the senses of dread and terror and lingering kinds of that sort of thing. That's the stuff that I really like. So I like the Somas and the Event Horizon stuff like that. But Alien just doesn't really do it for me. A lot of monster movies just don't really do it for me.
I kind of like the one with the evil Superman, Brightburn.
I haven't seen that yet, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's like I'm being against an unstoppable force. That's really kind of cool.
The problem is, it was a very cool premise, but it was a terrible execution. Because it wasn't actually him turning into evil Superman, he just went space person mad and then started killing people.
Yeah,
It
they
was crazy.
explained the fact in the beginning. The biology teacher explains it, and I don't know why anyone didn't listen. She talked about the species of wasps, which the bees raise as one of their own until they turn against the hive and just consume the hive from the inside. And that's pretty much what he was. He was like coming from a species of parasitic aliens, I guess, where they send their own on Earth, and as they grow up, they eventually conquer Earth. Like that was literally the whole premise.
But if they're that powerful, why don't they just conquer Earth to begin with? Why go through
I don't
this
know.
whole lengthy, silly process?
Maybe their method is that they use like intrusion. Or
Yeah, they
infiltration
basically
stuff.
use the easiest method. They just send one of their own.
Go onto the symposium and just look at the tweet I've just posted there. Just
Oh boy, let's do it.
drink it in. Drink it in.
Oh my goodness.
What did they say?
Just alt and tab and have a quick look.
It's
No,
like
'cause
the
the chat will see.
skeleton from Undertale, with a star on him. I guess that's what he is.
It's Jim Sterling's character art.
It's his. Oh my goodness.
Why are social justice activists masturbating over Undertale? What is the deal with that?
I don't know.
Why is Jim Sterling doing this?
Why wouldn't he be doing this? This seems entirely reasonable.
Yeah, why wouldn't you do it? Do you hate?
Yeah, why wouldn't I do it? Exactly. Good question, Rags. Why wouldn't I do it?
Why wouldn't you do
So
it?
let me count the fucking reasons.
Yeah, I mean, normally I don't get paid for groping men like that, so.
Water is wet because each water molecule is covered in other water molecules. Yeah, but that's not how we define wet. We do not examine the molecules of the substance.
That's water plural.
Yeah, we don't demolecularize something in order to judge if it's wet or not. What the fuck is that? Tervigon. Synapse Zero unit that spawns armies of Therma. When are you going to stop playing this bullshit race, Arch?
I literally fucking selected random.
Ace.
And you're blaming, like, I am fucking screwing myself by playing a random, and you're like, oh, you're overpowered. Yeah, I know. I am indeed overpowered.
And you're not even devouring stuff.
Fauna. I've just encountered another 3 giant robots. And
Never mind. You'll encounter ours soon enough. He'll put you out of your misery.
Well, I'm trying.
Which one of your cities is this? Is this like your main city? Can I kill it?
Yeah.
Good. To be honest, I don't actually have that much stuff up there, so...
I fucked it up managing the influence resource, so I couldn't build other cities.
Yeah, influence important. I've basically started just building a lot of that because I've realized it's nice to have.
Yeah, I thought influence is just to make hero units, and I was like, okay, I have 2 hero units. Influence isn't a problem now. And then
Well,
it's like,
don't worry, V. I've fixed the problem with your hero
you
units.
fixed the problem.
I have solved this particular issue.
Chat, would the Zerg beat the Tyranids? Go on.
I do like the ability for this Tarvagon to basically create an army out of nothing. It's just like, oh, it's V here. Tarvagons everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, are you guys, like, let's ignore the controversy around Blizzard for a second and focus on the fact that Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2 is coming out. Do you guys have any hopes that Diablo 4 is going to be remotely good?
I'm not
Well,
playing Blizzard games. After the Hong Kong China thing on.
I don't know. It's. I mean, I generally just hope that games are good because people buy them, and I want more good games. But at the same time, I'm doubtful if there's the sheer talent I'm legitimately doubtful that Blizzard has the talent left in it to make a good game anymore. And it's not to say that Overwatch isn't bad, but is it just more of the same? Is it just going to be a microtransaction fest? Is it going to... It's clear that their priority right now isn't creating great games that people want. That's just not something that they care about. It's not something that they want anymore.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, I want it to be good. I mean, I hope it's good, but if I was a gambling man...
Yeah, I mean,
I would not...
As for the Blizzard Hong Kong conversation thing, like, I don't mind. I know this sounds bad, right? But I generally don't mind if a company does deals with China, because then I would have to stop buying any shoes, I would have to stop buying anything that has to do with China. And it would be difficult, right? But, like, what I don't like is that they advertise themselves as a progressive corporation. And it's like, oh, we care about the gays, oh, we care about this and that. And then they do business with China. It's like, oh, you need to pick and choose, motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm just dealing with China in and of itself isn't the problem.
Yeah, and also stop importing Chinese censorship here. Like, if you want to censor, do a version for China that's censored. And leave the version for the West the way it should be. Like, just...
And if it gets to the point where China demands that you can't even give the West that version,
yeah, then you stop doing this. But a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to boycott Blizzard, and then they go and purchase League of Legends. It's like, you idiots.
I mean, I had tonight. I downloaded Modern Warfare to start playing that later, and I grudgingly had to install Battle.net on my computer in order to do it. So definitely not something I'm thrilled about.
You're
but at
dead
least
to
it's
me,
not.
Arax. You're dead to me.
Damn, at least it's not like I didn't have Battle.net on my computer. I'm not playing Overwatch or StarCraft or any of those games anymore. It wouldn't be right. I don't know.
I mean, okay, so if you really want to boycott China, you would have to stop watching any Marvel movies because they have business with China. You'd have to stop playing pretty much like almost every single game that's Epic Store exclusive, which is something that I already done. You would have to stop buying like most types of shoe brands.
I'm not going to buy any Epic Store game.
Most types
already.
of what?
I already
shoe brands, like most shoes are made in China, so you'd have to stop buying them.
I don't need shoes. I never leave the house anyways.
Yeah, you'd have to, I guess, a lot of movies are made in China, so pretty much you'd have to stop watching movies altogether if I think about it.
You know, like, completely detaching from China is probably not possible. Because they're just such an absolutely huge presence in the market.
They have their fingers in a lot of stuff.
And the thing is, like, we can't really affect China. China's too fucking big to really care. But we can probably affect Blizzard. Like, we can hit their bottom line.
Yeah, like, you know what I think?
They're worse than China.
You guys see Ubisoft's, because a lot of the money stuff came out for a lot of these companies, and Ubisoft is hurting something fierce.
That's good. Like, man, did you see their presentation at E3? I was like,
no, I don't even remember if I watched E3.
Oh, they had this furry panda doing a gay LGBT dance.
I think all pandas are furry.
Yeah, no, but it was like a furry as in an anthropomorphic panda.
Oh no.
And it was doing this really LGBT dance, and there were rainbow colors and everything. I was like, are you at a pride parade or are you going to show me some games? You know, like they wasted.
Don't be a homophobe, V.
Man, if I go to watch games, I want to watch games, right? Like I don't want to see game developers happy, smiling at me.
V?
Why do you hate gay pandas, V?
I hate gay pandas that take away 30 minutes of my life instead of just showing me what I'm there to watch.
Oh no.
No. Let me tell you the difference. Hold on. Let me tell you the difference between Western game developers and Japanese game developers, alright? One of them make money, the other one. I need to speak uninterrupted because you'll interrupt me and make me look like an asshole, right?
I'm letting you know that you cut out and you should start over.
Alright.
I'm actually a rather nice person.
I'll tell you the difference between Western game developers and Japanese game developers, right?
Alright.
Like Western game developers, when they go at E3, they only talk about the community. They only talk about how they're going to censor the community. They only talk about how friendly they are and, oh, we're gamers just like you.
Mm-hmm.
The Japanese game developers are looking at you with disgust and disdain. And they're like, I am better than you, Gaijin. But I have made a product that will provide Gaijin hours of pleasure. Here are game trailers. You go buy games. And these are the peoples I respect.
You sound just like him, V. That's impressive.
Yes.
Why do we respect them again?
Because they understand what gamers are, right? When I see a happy game developer, it pisses me off, Sargon, right? I want to see game developers...
Oh my goodness, V.
I want to see game developers in misery, crying, and suffering. Because I know they put blood and tears into that game that they want my money, right? They want my money. I want to see that they put their heart and soul into that game. Like for example, Metro, the game. The developers literally froze their ass to death making that video game. That is precious to me because I understand it is coming from the passion and the strong work ethic of the Ukrainian people. But if
is strong.
Yeah. How can I not respect that?
Well, I don't think they were up there crying on stage. I mean, they just seemed confident in their product. Like, I don't want to see them miserable. I want them to accurately represent the product and to be confident in it, not rip me off.
Yeah, but I'm not as wealthy as you, right? I don't have that much money to spend on every game. So I can only spend on some games.
That seems like the mindset you'd want to have if you didn't have much money.
No, you don't understand.
Yeah, you want to have an accurately represented product by people who are confident in their skills to make it.
If
So you
people
wouldn't-
are
so that would
happy,
help you not
if
waste your
people
money.
are happy, it means they were relaxing and wasting time rather than focusing on my game.
Well, maybe they were crying while they were making it, but when
Good.
they're up on the stage, well, yeah, okay. Well, maybe when they're up on the
I'm-
stage and it's finished, they're
Then
very
it wasn't
happy that it's
genuine.
done.
They didn't
Hang
get
on,
depression
hang on,
from the
look,
crying.
Okay,
right?
okay. But I'm just saying, right? Maybe we shouldn't have put the AI wildlife on very high, because I'm currently facing
Oh, no
six
fucking
giant
shit.
robots.
Pussy!
6 giant robots, right? And I've killed 4 already. So I'm just like, maybe this was too much. Because to be honest with you, I've got to be up like reasonably early tomorrow. So I'm probably going to have to go fairly soon. I thought we were going to have fought each other now.
You know, when
working on
I
it.
told Sargon, it's like, maybe we shouldn't have wildlife at all and just fight each
it's
other.
Archer's
And
idea.
yeah.
I blame Arch.
I'm working. I've done my job. Okay, I have found V. I'm currently introducing him to a diversity. I'll send the other half of my army down there soon.
Well, I am actually going to have to go. That's the thing.
But save it. I want to kill V.
We can kill V in another game.
Yeah, but no, suffer.
I think he is suffering. He's not winning.
Good.
I'm not suffering,
That's
I'm
it.
having fun.
But I want
right,
an
yeah,
admission
so-
of defeat.
I am going to have to go, I'm afraid, chaps. But,
Surrender.
it's been very nice playing and chatting and stuff, and hopefully do it again very soon.
V surrenders first. Sargon,
Right.
surrender. Official surrender.
Yes.
Thank you.
Right. Fucking hell.
To be fair, look at that fucking graph. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
Jesus. Militarily.
Oh, no, look at the military graph. Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
You didn't even have that big of an army. Like, if I would have managed to get 1 or 2 more cities going, I could have held off.
V, look at the... No, you can't look at the military graph because you already left.
Yeah. It's pretty disparate, I'm not gonna lie.
I had about triple your army, V.
No, I know, because I fucked up, but I didn't have another city. Let me see if there's any more super chat. I don't think there's any more super chat. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will have to delete this, of course. Sargon rage quits. Leave Sargon.
No. Oh, Jesus, hang on. Just looking at the fucking map. Like, it... Holy shit, just hundreds and hundreds of enemy units just knocking around on this map.
Sargon lost to the AI.
I'll put a screenshot on the fucking thing so you can see what I mean.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't show it to the chat.
Well, you'll be able to see it.
Oh, I can't look at it. I mean, I don't want to look at excuses this late at night.
Well, no, it's like this is going to take a long time to clear.
Well, you gotta remember, some of those are probably V's, and some of those were probably yours as well.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is that I
After
didn't
you
lose to
surrendered?
the AI.
Yeah, but I know where mine were.
Okay. But yeah, like, there's a lot of them, but I think the thing is, you need to start... the one thing I've started to do is basically develop a strike group that I can keep going by using the healers. Because that way I can just start...
Oh yeah,
clearing
that's
the map.
what I was doing as well. But the Necron healer isn't nearly the Tyranid healer. The Tyranid healer can heal every single turn, but the Necron one can only do it every 3rd turn.
Do you know that even the Imperial Guardsmen have medipacks and they can heal?
The Imperial Guardsman medipacks are actually fucking amazing. 50% heal. It's a long cooldown, but 50% fucking heal on your basic infantry like that. Oh, so good. The problem with the Guard is their basic infantry is fucking worthless. You build you don't even build those. Just heavy weapons teams. Everything else is so pointless.
Yeah.
By the way, this video will be up on BitChute on my livestream channel. So
BitChute.
should the bit.
See you later, guys. Bye.
See ya.
So yeah.
Thanks for playing, Arch. It was fun. You almost
Yes,
beat
I
me.
enjoyed beating your ass.
You almost beat. No, you didn't. Sargon left and the game
did.
crashed when he left.
Beat your ass.
You are 1 turn from beating my ass, but it didn't happen. You were almost there. Almost there. I give you credit for that, but Sargon left before that happened, so.